soon as it shows up, we'll be all good. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. Just gonna make it public, and then we'll probably wait for a bit before we start, because let some people pour in. Have a look, see.
Pour in.
Oh, what a wonderful world that is, that has the boys as a part of it.
Oh, it's so great. It's great.
And anyone who thinks otherwise is being very rude.
They just want to hate. They just want to hate things. Why can't they just enjoy it?
Ruining fun.
Why can't they just like it? It's just so simple. Here we are, though. A little bit of an impromptu sort of thing that we've been planning. So,
I mean, was it really a shock that the last episode was Tizumi?
no, it wasn't. I would be shocked if it wasn't.
Yeah. Was it better or worse than you thought it would be?
That's about what I expected, honestly, all things considered. I'm not surprised by it.
I think it was a little worse than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Didn't really give us any answers on anything, and everything got tied up incredibly neatly.
Yeah, it was frustratingly neatly. Like we're just back at square one, sort of, for the most part. They really, I don't know, I feel like the writers just sort of wanted to get back to that point where things were quote unquote cleaner.
It gives you like a clean slate to begin the next season.
Yeah, instead of having to worry about, all the things that they wrote for themselves. It's just like, I mean, if you're gonna write that stuff, I mean, all right, sure, I guess that's that.
See, because we it's yeah. So for anybody listening, I imagine because this is quite soon after the episode's even available, but just having a chat about it. Gonna go through it event by event, probably.
Yeah, what's this called? We talk about the boys say, okay, good. So the spoiler aspect is implied by the title. Good.
Yes.
Just wanted to be really clear. If you were worried about that sort of thing, if you're worried about spoilers, this is definitely not the place to be. Then again, I'm not going to feel too bad about spoiling this show for you, if I'm going to be honest.
So yeah, we the hot take was delivered like a week ago, but we think The Boys season 2 is really bad, like really bad. And we're going to talk all about it in an EFAP at some point. But today we're probably just going to talk about the finale and maybe just some tangents here and there about the season as a whole. It's just coasting through being criticized en masse by the subject matter alone. Superheroes doing naughty things. Isn't that cool, everyone? Hey,
wow,
Butcher
what an
dresses
interesting premise.
all in black. He has a fucking badass like way of speaking, and he's proper English, and he fucking has a shotgun or an AR-15 in some cases.
His name's cool. Butcher. Whoa.
Lots of lots of stuff that I think the show is able to get away with thanks to that. But we're here for the mechanics as per usual.
Yeah, an ideas are cheap. Execution, that's everything. That's where the real talent comes in, making it all come together. So it seems like the conflict with the Seven is over. Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
What even was the conflict with the Seven at this point? Like, are we talking about
like right now? None. It's just they're all just sort of, with the exception of the Deep being replaced by. Well, we still have Black Noir, who's out of the picture for now, and he'll come back when it's appropriate for the story. They made sure to.
They did that with him and Stormfront. You can tell they're not committed to getting rid of Stormfront. They might bring her back as a robot or some shit. She'll have robotic arms and a robotic eye.
Maybe she's got super healing and it takes a long time for her to heal, or they're going to pull some other power out of their butt. But she's out of the picture for now, at least in an action role. You've got the same thing with Black Noir. They were very specific not to really give a timeline on his arrival. So he'll be back whenever he needs to be back. You have, let's see, Maeve is back. Starlight's back. The Deep isn't, though. A-Train is back. So I guess we did all that and we never got anything with the Deep. They did all that, and
the Deep, the whole season was comic relief. That's all he was.
And it wasn't funny either.
Well, I didn't find it funny, yeah. So it's pretty amazing.
The only thing I laughed at was when the kid said cunt.
People have been referring to that as an arc, by the way, with the Deep.
What's the arc?
I don't know. I don't know what the arc is.
If someone out there knows the arc, let me know.
Because
what the Deep's arc is.
I feel like it's pretty unusual to call that an arc. It's more so he's just trying to get back in the 7. It's not really working out. That's about it.
Yeah. Don't know what the arc is.
He's like
everything
exactly
that
the same character. Because I thought that they were doing a joke with not developing him, as in like he's self-conscious about his gills in the season, and then he's finally gotten over it, and then Homelander says they're disgusting, hide them. And he's like, oh.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're gonna get Patton Oswalt gills in season 3.
God,
who knows? I don't know. That whole part was super weird too. The drug stuff that he does, because it's just exposition. It was all it was. It was just how do we have a slightly humorous scene where we just explain everything overtly, and there you go.
Yeah,
nice and easy.
And it didn't take, obviously. And then it's just like the collective become pretty clear in terms of, look, we're here to try and fix your image and then get you back into Vought, and through that get good graces with Vought in the hopes of benefiting from that. Then, of course, the collective turn out to almost they're screwed from the inside by A-Train, and then they're like, wait, we can take advantage of this with people, the girl who's rising in Congress. If we can get her on our team, maybe she'll be able to get us tax cuts for being a religion. That seems to be the collective guy's plotline for the season. That was his goal. Kind of weird.
I feel like with the Deep, like I thought they were going somewhere with them. You know, I get my mistake, I guess, for thinking that. My expectations were subverted in that regard.
Well, he's like on the steps of becoming one of the 7. Then they're like, "Oh no, I don't."
Well, no, it's actually A-Train.
Which doesn't make sense because he was booted out of the 7 for not being able to run because of his heart condition. That was the reason. You can't.
I guess he wasn't in the top 20.
So Homelander booted him out. What's Homelander going to care about if he's made a deal with some people?
I guess the whole thing was he wasn't fast enough, so they could have had some of the other people take his place. It didn't have to be him, especially they know that he's like murdering people and he's a crazy, horrible guy.
But like, what about his heart? He just says like he's fine now.
Yeah, like, I'm okay.
We didn't do anything with that. I thought A-Train's fucking confusing, man. Throughout this whole season, A-Train isn't really a character, he's just a plot device.
He really is.
Yeah, without going...
Maeve turns into that, too.
Yeah, it's a pity that they've all kind of been left alone. But yeah, well, I guess we'll try and go chronological. If you remember, I'll essentially just try and remind as we go, but they open up on the school shooting PSA thing.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It's like, are they children that are using their superpowers in schools to kill other children now?
No, I think it's just if a super terrorist attacks a school, it's like the whole, duck and cover thing from
I thought they were trying to compare it to school shooters.
I guess maybe. I thought it was just supposed to be like a...
So if it is just someone with superpowers attacks a school and this is what you should do, it's just like, damn, I feel like we really haven't been shown that like it's happening enough that they have to make these PSAs.
Yeah, I don't know where, because you had the Senate hearing or the courthouse thing, but other than that, like I don't know if it's happening enough, because they allude to it like happening overseas and everything, and then they have the worry about them getting into the US through the borders and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what would actually compel that kind of thing to happen. I I mean, I don't know. I guess it was supposed to be just some. I guess they intended it to just be a little bit of world building about.
Oh, I'm assuming they
what
wanted
they
it to
do.
come across as satire. I know the show thinks it's absurd for a teacher to have a gun.
Yeah.
And that's the joke of the
The
scene.
way, the way that they present it is kind of weird. The way that they do, like teachers just having guns, as if that's was ever the thing that was suggested. Was we just passing guns out to all the teachers?
Like, well,
But
it's kind of weird as well, because, like, well, I guess there are superheroes you can kill with guns. It's just, I don't know.
yeah, a lot of them. I imagine most of them could be killed with
Can
guns.
A-Train be killed? But no, A-Train would... The fact that he's a
No, he
speedster
could.
means he has to be strong as well, right?
Well, he runs through what's her face in the first episode, and he's fine.
Yeah, it's not
So
like he gets hurt by that, so...
yeah, you have to be super resilient to be able to do that and not get damaged.
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine a lot of them can be killed with bullets, because a lot of powers are like the senator. I assume she can just get shot and die.
Simultaneously, could she kill Homelander if she wanted to?
I imagine that their super resilience might prevent them from it, but then again, I have no idea what the rules are on her powers.
Yeah, because
So
as we saw with, like, the mental institution, a lot of superheroes, supes, whatever, just people with these powers, a lot of them don't have super density or strength, whatever. They can just be killed.
also, she killed the other speedster guy, Shockwave.
Oh yeah, she
So
blew his head up, yeah.
yeah, so I guess maybe he just wasn't resilient like A-Train is. I don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's hard to tell exactly what everyone's powers are, and I think they do that on purpose to try and avoid committing to too many rules.
Yeah, they clearly cannot handle a lot of them. So
Oh yeah, someone
I think
in
the
chat
big
just said
example would be yeah,
Mesmer was killed by Butcher just slamming his head against a sink, so... In season
yeah,
1.
yeah. I think that certainly makes it a lot more interesting. Like superheroes are glass cannons, essentially. They have typical human resilience, but they have incredible offensive capabilities
Bla
that they have to be deployed like super tactically.
Blaze just super chat, all supes are bulletproof, guns feel safe. No, they're not.
Yeah.
One of them isn't even knife-proof, as we saw in this episode.
Yeah. Apparently, she could get lasered and she's okay. She can get shot and she's okay. She can get bashed with crowbar. She's
Oh wait,
okay.
yeah.
But if you stab her, that
She's supposed
yeah.
to have regen, surely. Because
Her chest is back to normal.
Yeah, because Homelander burns her, and it's clearly, like, it's flesh looking, like he's seared her. But
Yeah, he's clearly yeah.
of course, with her outfit, you can tell that
Someone
her chest
says
healed.
someone says eyes are vulnerable to puncture. It's like, oh, okay, so the eyes are the only part that's normal about them.
Well,
So
unless you can get in their ass or open their mouth, as we saw in episode 2.
yeah, they don't commit to that either. The thing is, like, the whole fact that you could just stab an eyeball and like, oh, so they have two huge weaknesses on the front of them.
Oh, and
That's just always around.
someone just said, yeah, well, apparently she can't get lasered. It's like, yeah.
But his laser's better.
I guess the kid's
I guess
laser is
Homelander
more
was
powerful.
holding back on his. Yeah, Homelander, like, she even said to do, more.
Yeah.
So I assume that his laser he could control the intensity of his laser. But the kid can't control it, so
Homelander,
I can
Stormfront,
see
and
that
Queen
being a thing.
Maeve are clearly immune to bullets. What if you shoot one in the eye?
Yeah, you could stab Stormfront in the eye and she just loses the eye.
And yeah,
So
A-Train's leg was broken, but it was done by Kimiko, who's also a supe, so...
yeah.
It's like...
I mean, maybe what if they took a candy bar to the eye?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to stay chronological on that one. Black Noir is in a coma because of the chocolate bar. I mean,
Yeah,
and before anyone says, you do know that allergies can do this, like, I'm not at all talking about whether or not an allergy can do that. I am just talking about the writers deciding to put him in a coma from a chocolate bar.
Yeah. How do we get him out of the way? It's chocolate bar allergy.
At least they didn't kill him.
Also, how does he stab himself with the EpiPen?
Well, I guess the implication is that he didn't get to it in time, and that's why he's in a coma.
No. How does he stab himself with the EpiPen?
Through the tongue? Is the tongue weak?
I don't know. Because I assume that he's like super mega resilient because the explosions and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how maybe he can stab himself in the eye. I don't know. I don't even know. Don't even know where he was going to stab himself.
It's all so absurd and hard to keep track of, and that's why when fights break out, you're just sort of waiting for the show to tell you what happened, because it's just like, nothing I can really think about. So yeah, the drama to start with is that Vought are the military want to take Compound V off Vought and start giving it to everyone in the army. That's what we hear, right?
Yeah,
so gonna bypass the FDA and authorize Compound V for use by law enforcement and first responders.
Yeah, this idea. So what happened as a result of the end of the first season, where they got out all of the information about Vought dispensing Compound V and making all the superheroes and
villains,
all the supervillains getting it? Like, what was the result of that? What happened as a result?
They blamed it all on Madeline Stillwell, who was a person who was like, couldn't possibly have been the only one involved. Like, it's literally just not the case. I don't even...
Like, nothing happened. It doesn't even matter if they blamed it on her. Like, the idea that they just let Vought basically get away with it.
Doesn't even make sense, because several of the supes, like, outdo her in terms of, like, age. Or at least, the idea that she was behind it all doesn't even make sense, because she didn't come before Vought, if you know what I mean. So it had to be tied to someone who, like, before she was alive, this shit was happening. So it's just like, oh, Madeline Stillwell, she's the one who did it, boo her, and then it's all over, like, Vaught's fine. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Vought is just fine after all of that stuff. Vaught's just fine. And this whole season has an issue with Vought just sort of being Schrodinger's evil corporation, where they don't care about stuff when the show just doesn't want them to, and they're not around when someone doesn't want them to be. It's very much, it's like, it's kind of like the extent of Homelander's powers. Like, whenever they need to be there, they're there. Whenever they don't need to be there, we just forget about them. No worries. In this episode specifically, they seem to have remembered that Vought exists, which is nice. Because they certainly have been oddly absent from this season, considering how much focus and attention they get in the first season.
Someone said Homelander his eyes would be immune because he's said to have survived even the strongest nukes made by man. Like, I don't think that's in the show at all, but even if it were, how embarrassing that he got knocked out by a bus.
Yeah, the whole bus thing. Not to mention the fact that a guy, he telekinetically pulled a bus through the ground down into the sewer. I guess he knew that there was a bus up there. And I guess Homelander didn't have the reflexes to move out of the way. Also, being hit by a bus that wasn't really moving that fast apparently knocks out Homelander for long enough for our heroes to escape.
Yeah, that's shitty episode 3, I think, so... Yeah, we'll get there at some point. But yeah, the funny part to me is just that we're apparently being told the government's gonna, like, seize Compound V from Vought, I suppose, and just give it to... And you'd think maybe if they're gonna specify, like, experimenting it on soldiers would be one thing, but they've said they're just gonna provide it to the military and first responders. I just find that absurd. It's like, what do you mean?
First responders.
We already know that Compound V being given to certain people can kill them. So, like, what?
Well, yeah, the whole point of that hospital is how do we test a way to give Compound V to adults? That's the whole point of that facility. Like, did they already forget about that?
He says doves are going in for 5 million a pop. What does that mean? Is Dove the, like, top secret name for Compound V?
I assume they mean Compound V. By that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, not doves, doses. Because they were going to do a top secret title for it. I guess they never got around to it. Well, because obviously it came out, they don't need a top secret name for it. one dose, 5 million? Damn.
Cheap.
And yeah, the Pentagon and ICE are both mass ordering it, apparently. I don't even... Yeah, they say we can't put Compound V into the mainstream. It'll be an avalanche of supes. It's suicide. And it's just like...
Because it obviously will be.
Yeah, like, what chaos is this?
Yeah, like, I guess the whole idea is that they just sell it to everyone and anyone could become a soup now, if they're given it, and so... Okay.
His response is that after the Washington attack, the best way to keep America safe is going to be to do that.
To just start passing out superheroes to people. Okay. Like, that's just absurd.
And, yeah, they try to tell him that it's obviously Vought is behind it. And then he's like, but Vaught's guys died too. And then she's like, to make it look like it's not them? Which, of course, before we understand in the finale that she's the one who's blowing up heads for whatever reason. In this moment, you would probably believe that Vought is doing it if it leads to something Vought would want.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how this benefits Vought to have Vought become... I guess they get lots of money through selling Compound V, but
shockingly, shockingly they are allowed to still operate as a company. Yes.
But like, well, this is the thing. How are they not seized, like, by the military?
Yeah, I don't know. Way? They just aren't. That's the thing. They just aren't.
You have a goo that, when injected, gives people potentially the power to, like, laser down airplanes. I don't understand how
the idea that they would just hand this out is nuts. There's no way they would do that. Like, it's absurd. In any context, it's just absurd. Are they gonna do the Jurassic World thing where, oh, now they're everywhere?
Well, I'm guessing that didn't end up happening by the end of this episode.
I get, yeah, they went back on it at the very end, but so yeah, I guess that was a deal with. Why not though?
Do you hear, by the way, because I got it muted with subtitles on, so I can just remember what happened. He's like, what are you gonna do, threaten to release a video of me, like, fucking somebody at some place? And he's like, go ahead, I'll have this job in my rear view and I'll get a comfy job at Fox. It sounds dreamy. Like, damn, they just keep throwing punches out.
They can't help themselves.
Yeah.
They cannot help themselves.
So, yeah, I just find it all absurd that they're just gonna drop Compound V into the mainstream, apparently. Like... As far as we knew, it was something that was incredibly unstable and dangerous. And I need to watch season 1 again, but I thought the point was that Homelander and A-Train have been doing it for X amount of time, and it took some time before a terrorist actually arrived, like came about. They were like, finally.
Yeah, because of how unstable it is to give it to an adult.
Yeah, and
they could keep trying, and eventually they'd get a supervillain that was viable.
Didn't they say that because I remember us talking about, I was like, when did they ever show someone exploding from it? Because that was in response to them saying Compound V can make people explode.
I'm sure it has all kinds of weird side effects.
Yeah, what I'm suggesting is, I'm not saying it's a problem that it makes people explode. I just couldn't remember an example of it. And if that's the case, why the fuck would you ever want to make that mainstream?
Because remember, the whole point of the creepy hospital is that they were trying to find a way to make it stable to give to adults, but they haven't found that out yet. So you can't just go out and give it to adults. Like, that's not possible yet.
And yeah, I think it's writing-wise, it's to crank the stakes in terms of like, oh my god, this is what's going to be happening with Compound V now. But in such a short amount of time, it's absolutely absurd. Like, there's just no fucking way. So yeah, world building wise, they're like, we've got to stop Compound V from being led into the mainstream and armies of superheroes on both sides happening, you know, blah blah blah. And then that scene's over. I'd have to watch it again to know if they did a conclusion on that. I think they blame everything on Stormfront, right? By the end?
Yeah.
Stormfront was the one. You guys are missing a lot of details. I'd say you might be filling in details that aren't there. Just gonna say. There's not many ways you can add context that makes it okay that they're going to take Compound V and put it into first responders. I would have a problem with it, by the way, if they said that they were going to take Compound V and start experimenting with it on men in the military or something. I'd be like, fucking hell.
Yeah, I guess that would be better.
Yeah, it would be better.
So
anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Next scene, Butcher's wife has managed to escape the compound without being found.
Yeah, she can just leave.
And they show us that there's like all these dudes with torches. There's a helicopter with a spotlight, and they show her that she's gotten over the wall. Now, before we get into like the specifics of how the fuck she managed to get over that wall without anyone seeing her, isn't she like the only person in this compound they actually care about? It's like built for her at this point because the kid's gone.
Yeah, because they're a pair. They're supposed to be paired together. The kid is supposed to be raised by her
without the kid. So why wouldn't they have just taken her in at this point?
I assume they thought that they would eventually get the kid back, or Homelander would. I see
again with Schrodinger's
the kid was in the
Vought. They're so fucking terrible that they were like, I don't understand how you have a scenario where she is able to escape them, but simultaneously they have this many people and a helicopter searching for her at the time of her escape. I'm like, what in the world were the mechanics of her escape?
Yeah, especially considering because Butcher getting in, having to go through the car and all that stuff, which has its own issues.
Yeah. Well, that was better than what we saw from her.
Yeah, she's just gone.
And the implication that she dug, because she looks a bit muddy.
I assume she's been running through the woods.
Well, either way, major fuck up would be, of course, she would have a chip, a tracker. Everyone who works for Vought who's significant does. I would imagine the kid does too.
She's insanely important.
So they lose her somehow. They're like right behind her in this scene too. It's just really funny. Oh, and she pulls the knife out, by the way, in case anyone's gonna come forward. I think that's just the writers being like, you see, she has a knife. Just letting you know. It's gonna come up later. And yeah, so we talk about this a lot. I mentioned it with BoJack, but you know, all of these things that we're going to be talking about mechanically lead to very big payoffs. And if you do it in the reverse, you're like, oh, that payoff where fucking kid blew up Stormfront, so cool. And then it's like the amount of things that had to happen in order for that to happen is what makes that thing. And this is one of the important ones. She escapes from the compound and she makes it to Butcher's place without getting found by Vought and without when we were watching episode, I want to say it was 5, could have been 4, where Butcher says that you know, what have you been doing lately? And he's like, oh, you know, I'm just underground at a particular shop in a particular street. It's like, why would you tell her that? Why would you even say that out loud in this place? Like, why would you put in danger all the people who are undercover? It was such a fucking clunky-ass line. And it turns out he did it because she needed to know that address. When she escapes, she runs straight there.
Yep, there you go. And now they're all together. Hooray.
And you got Starlight is telling her mum, they're like, oh, you gotta be careful, only use cash and blah 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 blah, because of course her mum is a good man, despite what happened in season 1 and despite her having essentially got her caught in the previous episode, which led to Lamplighter's death, because that was what the show wanted.
Yeah, I assume it's a like her little redemption sort of thingy she's got going.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I'm willing to just sort of like, fine, yeah. She says, stay off the radar, basically, but go. Yeah, and then what was funny is I'm trying to get this so I can get the particular lines because I just found them funny. There's like shouting happening above their secret place, and Butcher's like, huh? And it's like some lady is like wants to find you or something, and then he's like, oh, and he just goes up there. This whole season has pretended that they're not wanted men.
Oh yeah, they play extreme. Like it's not just with them; it's just everybody. I mean, you look how sloppy they were with Starlight's tracker. Kind of nuts, but they just walk around. Everyone just walks around in public often,
You know when they're lighting up how they're gonna kill the supes, by the way, because that's the scene before the one I kind of jumped to there. They got the RPG with like the weird electricity shit for Stormfront. I'm willing to let that one go. It's like okay.
Okay.
For A-Train, they're gonna have a shot of epinephrine, and it's gonna blow his heart. That's their plan.
Yeah, the delivery system. I don't think about it.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, he's gonna run circles around. How he's
Yeah, he's gonna pull. He's just gonna yank it out of your hand before you have time to react.
They treat it as though it's just so casual, and this scene doesn't address Homelander. Turns out, because we've seen the episode now, the plan is to annoy him with a sound, and then hope that just buys them enough time. That's the
Which,
plan
shockingly, it does.
And to be fair, you could have a plan for every single supe in the fucking universe, or, well, world. If you don't have one for Homelander, the plan is worthless. Like, I don't even care if you can kill all of them except him. He's the one you gotta sort out. So, yeah, they're just like, yeah, we got a plan for each of them, sort of. They don't even account for... They got a plan for Black Noir, by the way. They point out the allergy. They're like, that's how we'll deal with him. As if just grabbing him and taking his mask off and forcing a chocolate bar down his throat is something that we can commonly do.
Well, you could get a gas version of it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, but they don't.
But they don't. It's just sort of a... Because in the first episodes of the first season, it's setting up the idea that they're going after superheroes, and so they have to come up with these plans and these creative methods to kill them that's based on their weaknesses. And we never really get any of that for the rest of the show.
Yeah, so frustrating. And they do the thing, which for the audience is a good thing, but it's not good in universe. So Huey and Starlight, they're like, could I testify? And he's like, your testimony will mean shit because you're a criminal, is what MM says to Starlight, which I find...
so that's bullshit. That's
I find
not
that pretty
how the world
interesting.
works.
I mean, like, she's a criminal according to Vought. Her testimony is against Vought. Like, the whole point is that she can reveal, but whatever, fine, they say it's worth nothing. Oh, okay. Her suggestion, we know from the episode, is going to Maeve. Like, maybe we can get Maeve to testify. But she doesn't say that in the scene. She says, give me the day, I have an idea, and Huey walks off with her. And the only reason they do that is to make us go, ooh, like, what's the idea? Oh, and then they reveal it, right? They open the door, and there's Maeve. And you're like, oh, shit, Maeve, okay.
Because me in the moment, I was like, oh, you just thought of this right now. All right.
Well, that too. Why wasn't this thought of at all before? But also, MM and Butcher... Why would they let them go like, oh, I have an idea, see you later? It's like, no, what's the idea? What are you doing? Like, this is incredibly important that we get this right. You're both incredibly wanted. You can't just walk around for the day. Like, what is the plan? It's like, nah, we got this. We'll come back to you if it works. It's like, if what we're... And you need to tell them, because if your plan is enough to do whatever you're trying to do, then doesn't that mean that they need to know it so that they don't do anything else in its place? It's such a writing thing. It's not an actual people talking to each other thing.
Yeah, if I was there, if I was one of them, I'd be saying, no, like, seriously, what's the plan? What are we gonna do? Like, the plan is everything in this game, so we have to know the plan. You gotta tell me what's going on.
They make jokes about it in I can't remember what show it is or what movie, but you know when they do the thing where they go, oh, come here, and everyone they go about the plan, so the audience don't know what it is. And then they go like, okay, but can you actually say it instead of just whispering nonsense? Like, that's the joke, because of course, you want the audience to be laid in suspense a lot of the time, but you can't have it so that half the team is aware of a plan and the other half isn't. That's just stupid. And of course, it sets up Deus Ex Maeve, which we fucking called a mile off. She's gonna play the character
Absolutely.
I don't want to help. I hate you. This is all the worst thing ever. And then she'll sit there and ponder for a while
until at the end, yeah.
Until she can save the day.
Especially because we knew that she had the photo from the plane, or the video from the plane, and
yep.
Like we were saying, like, she has that. She has a whole plan and everything with that. Like, that's the whole point of her really being in the story. That's her thing right now.
Someone said MauLer is broken. He could only nitpick. Hey man, when it's all the stuff you don't like, it's fine. When it's all the stuff you like it, huh?
Yeah, if you think this stuff is nitpicks, like, oh man. Ugh.
I'd be curious what's left once we talk through all this. Because we jumped ahead a little bit. The next scene is establishing that Black Noir is in a coma. It's just funny to me. And what is she? This isn't the scene where she says the thing, so we'll be fine. We'll just ignore that for now. Stormfront went full Nazi this episode, which makes a lot of sense because it was, you could tell that something horrible was going to happen to her because they were cranking the evil even further. Not that they hadn't done that previously already. Yeah, that was the line. She says Edgar is pretty smart, especially for his kind. Like these awkward as fuck racist lines that keep coming in. You're just like,
it's just
okay.
so. I remember when we first got introduced to it, and we're like, "What?" It was so silly and stupid. We're just like, "Ugh, it's so dull. It's so uninspired and lazy." She's just a racist. Why? Because secret Nazi experiment. And I'm like, "Oh, this is like a meme. You're doing like a meme thing right now."
Well, yeah, she's kind of like just an insane cartoon. Yeah, it's I wish it were more hilarious. There is one hilarious moment in the episode where she's in a picture with Hitler. That had me laughing. That was good shit.
Yeah, her with Hitler, of course. It's just perfect.
It's beautiful. Wow. It's so good.
Perfect.
So yeah, next is the scene where Starlight and Huey just having a chat about why is it that she's coming along. And then she's like, why did you save me in Vought Tower after the way I've treated you? Which struck me as so odd, because I was like, wait, what do you mean? This season has been, they work together to bring down Vought, and she's successful, but then Homelander starts threatening to kill her, and she gets worried, and they go on like a play date, if you remember, for a day with MM.
Oh, yeah.
And then they kind of split up, and then she sees her mum, she gets captured, and she's like, why would you save me? I'm like, why wouldn't he have saved you? Like, why would they? I'm so confused.
Like you're in a relationship. Like, duh.
And she's like, you could have gotten yourself killed. It's like, I don't.
Yeah.
She said you have every reason to give up on me. I'm so confused.
Well, like, no, what? No. Not at all. Yeah, I mean, y'all are playing fast and loose with everything anyway, with you meeting in public and just chatting and going out and having a good time and doing your little trip with them knowing that you have a tracker in them, and Vought just like outright refusing to use the tracker. Like, remember how in the first episodes it was a huge deal that there was a tracker in him, and they had to put translucent in that special room so that they couldn't track him. And now in this season, it's like, fuck it. Vought just doesn't really care about the tracker. She's missing. They're trying to figure out where she is. She's gone for days at a time. As always, she's there.
They cut the tracker out of her in like episode 8, Rags. God, I mean 7, 6.
Yeah, eventually. Like eventually they cut the tracker out of her. Yeah.
They broke up after the road trip. Yeah, I doubt Rags is specifically saying they are definitively on paper boyfriend and girlfriend. More so
they care about each other.
There's a big connection between the both of them. It shouldn't be shocking that he would want to save her life. Is the point?
Yeah, like obviously there's a romantic interest between them.
When she referred to Edgar by his kind, I thought she meant regular human as opposed to a super. I mean, she's been explicit on her hatred for non-white people.
She's cartoonishly racist.
Yeah, like you when she says his kind, when she already hates black people, I don't know. I'm assuming. So yeah, Maeve is like super pissed off in her scene, which comes next. And it's really confusing because she's got the leverage that she was trying to get to save her and her girlfriend's relationship, which we don't know what ended up happening with that. The girl ended up leaving, right?
Yeah, she did. I don't. They've left it securely in a place where they can either leave it where it is or do something about it later. They're leaving themselves a lot of open doors to the point where they've basically reset the show.
She saved her own life, he just bumped into it. True, but he came there with the intention to save her life, and technically Lamplighter saved her life by killing himself. It's all very weird. That's episode 7 for you.
We called that too, the Lamplighter death. We were like, yeah.
When he set himself on fire, I was like, how could this possibly lead to her escape? When we were watching it, I was like, what could and it's just like, oh, I set off the thing, and then the light went off. It's like, oh.
I don't know. I feel like if you have a superhero containment cell, Like, that would be something that would just never open unless you manually opened it.
Why would there be an alarm light inside the greatest prison cell? They established that this cell is, like, designed to stop any soup. Like, it's supposed to be a soup cell. But put an emergency light in there in case there's a fire. Like, I don't... That's a weird one. I don't know. So yeah, Maeve is, like, out of character, like, uncharacteristically angry, and, it spelled to me throughout the entire scene that she was gonna come through in the end, you know?
Yeah.
And she does, twice, actually.
Yeah, she does. The second time surprised me. She just shows up again.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
The first one, I was like, yep, here she is. And they have their big kick the Nazi moment, and it's very empowering. Yeah, pretty. It's really special. And then she shows up a second time. What did I say about we both put, essentially, we said Stormfront would die, but in effect she's dead at the moment.
They'll bring it
so
back.
They got her out of the picture for now.
It's, yeah, like, they have a lot of choices. Maybe that's the idea. This whole season ends in a way that's like, hey, people who write season 3, you can do whatever you want. Literally whatever
basically.
You want. Which has pros and cons to that as a writing goal.
Also, we were under the impression that, like, I had to ask MauLer while we were watching the episode near the end. I asked him if there was going to be a third season or if this was just the end of the show. If this was just it, if they were wrapping everything up and keeping some things open-ended on purpose, because that's the way the show ends. Because they could end it right here, and it would be a really interesting ending. But I guess they're doing more because people eat this shit up. So,
like, the way it ties in a bow is endable, but of course I don't think the show's really over until Homelander's dealt with.
Yeah, they're gonna have to find something. They haven't even had so much as of a whisper on what his weakness is. So far, it's just been his reliance on wanting to have a good image.
Stab him in the eye with a knife. You got it.
I guess. So I don't know if they're going to come up with something, or that's going to be the zinger of one of the next episodes or seasons, is that they discover a weakness for Homelander. Also, we learn in this episode, or I guess if you're doing things chronologically, we could carry on.
Oh yeah, because we'll probably have a thing to talk about in terms of, like, the season as a whole and what it was trying to do and what they'll probably do in season 3. Next scene is when she shows up to the shop, and the idea with this shop is, like, it's incredibly covert. They're supposed to be pretending to be an electronics store or whatever the fuck it is, while underneath it has Butcher and a bunch of these wanted people that they use it as a secret. And of course she turns up and she's just like, I need Butcher, where's Butcher? I want Butcher, I'm pretty sure he's here. And their first instinct is like, hey Butcher, come upstairs and come and see this person who's trying to contact you. It's baffling to me. I'm like, guys, like, maybe try and just pretend for a second that you're trying to remain secret. That'd be great. The way you normally think they do it is she can get in the store and she can be like, where's Butcher? I know he's here. And they can be like, I have no idea who you're talking about. And then it'd be like, I know he's here. He told me he's here. He gave me this address. They could be like, yeah, seriously. I can go and check in the back for anyone here named Butcher. You know, if you want to just sit tight. And then they're like, holy shit, you might be compromised. But no, they're just like, hey Butcher, go check. There's some girl calling your name upstairs. It's and of course this wouldn't even happen if not for having managed to escape Vaught's stronghold, which is kind of baffling to me, but you know. Yeah.
That's the thing, like, a lot of this episode relies on her just escaping, essentially, as far as we know, because they don't even bother telling us how. How did she get up over those walls? Because remember, Butcher needed, like, a grappling hook.
I guess she had one. Well, she made one.
I guess, sure.
So then we move to Vought is discussing with the collective dude, like, how they're gonna bring the Deep back. And I'm guessing because Gus says, what kind of percentage do you get these days as the church? 40-50%. And I think the idea there is that they're going to have a relationship where the collective rehabilitate the deep, in a public sense, and Vought will pay them for that as a service almost. That's just how it's symbiotic, I guess. And then they talk about how A-Train's not going to work, and it's because Stormfront doesn't like A-Train, and I can have you.
I guess they're. Here's the thing. This goes back into the whole. Why does Vought just let her do whatever?
And yeah, so Vought, So why Rags just said that is he says Stormfront doesn't like A-Train, and we have to indulge her at the moment, which is just baffling. Again, I don't understand why Vought would let her do everything that she's done this season. I thought we were going to get an explanation that they wanted her to do what she was doing. And what Gus eventually says in this episode is that he likes anger. Anger is good, and she provides it. Like, it makes the stocks for Vought go up. How in the world does what she's saying make stocks for Vought go up? You remember the stuff she said across this season? She's been shitting all over them.
Yeah, she's been saying Vought is shit, Vaught's terrible. If you're gonna go the whole she makes people angry, there are ways for her to do that that don't involve her outright saying that Vought is bad and Vaught's the problem, and they just let her say all that stuff.
Which is also strange because she's kind of Team Vought as well. Like, that's her goal. She wants to use Vought as a weapon against, for all the shit she wants done. So it's bizarre, but he's like, yep, so A-Train can't come because she doesn't want him to come. And Gus says she was among your grandfathers, like, when the collective was started up. And like, he's like, I can't confirm or deny that. And he says your internal research bureau knows exactly what Stormfront's problem is with A-Train, which I'm assuming is just she hates black people.
Why? And Black Noir.
Yeah, like, it seems like so. But yeah, just to clarify, A-Train cannot be returned to the Seven because Stormfront doesn't like him. When the whole reason the A-Train was booted out was that Homelander doesn't like that he can't run as fast anymore. It feels like the show doesn't even realize. Like, that's why A-Train was booted, not because of anything else. Like, it's so weird. And so A-Train can't get back in now, not because Homelander is unhappy with his speed, it's because Stormfront's racist. And as if that wasn't enough for you to be like, I'm confused, what's happening here? Turns out A-Train is in the next room, behind a door.
And he's just there. He's just there.
It's like a cartoon. He opens it up and walks into the room they were in a second ago and goes like, "Oh, fuck them."
Yeah,
it's like, what? Yeah.
It's weird. He just happened to be there.
And you can't, like, address this with like, "Oh, but he's really fast." I'm like, I don't even understand how that would. It's such a weird moment, but of course, it's not going to be small. That's going to set up something incredibly important. That A-Train does not like the collective anymore. So what's he gonna do? And if you caught that, what we were talking about, he says, like, deep in your files, you'll know why Stormfront hates A-Train. And so now A-Train knows that if he looks in those files, he's gonna get something on Stormfront. So, like, incredibly shit dialogue, and he happened to be there at the right time, means that he's gonna be able to provide something to the boys.
Also, he acquires the files, I guess, without any issue, which is
because
fine.
You can say, like, that he did it with super speed, but, like, there's a lot more to stealing them, I imagine, than just being fast. You're gonna need to open up a lot of places. But
I guess it all works out for him, though.
Yeah, he pulled it off. So it's like, all right.
Yeah, works out. All works out.
Yeah, like on a mechanical level, it just means that he would have known to eavesdrop on them, and he would have done it in such a way that they wouldn't have known he was where he was. It's just weird, and it just seems like the show portrays as just like, oh shit, they said that in front of him. What a mistake. Like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I guess he was just in that room behind the door.
It's also interesting that sort of so many characters throughout this whole season discuss incredibly sensitive things in the open.
Yeah, that's because it's like that's the running theme of season 2. People just being people who are either wanted, people who should be hiding, are just out and about. They're taking walks in the park. They're on the sidewalk in the middle of a busy city. They're just hanging around.
Someone said you see A-Train speed by in the beginning of the scene. That's not an issue to me at all. Like, whether or not he gets there by being fast. It's more so he knew where to be and when, and they didn't care about the potential of eavesdropping. The fact that he could get in there is like, fine, because he's really fast.
Oh yeah, I believe he could
whenever he runs
there,
past somebody, it always makes the sound. So you'd think they'd be like, oh shit. But yeah, they have all these conversations very arbitrarily. And it always comes to bite them in the ass. Well, depends on if the show wants it to. So then, yeah, then there's the scene of Butch has to promise that he's gonna look after the kid. Because of course he hates supes with a hardcore vengeance.
I thought they were going for the whole this is the kid that changes his mind on it, and
well, they got the dad thing going, right, where he doesn't want to bring up the kid, he doesn't want anything to do with the kid because he'll spread his badness to the kid.
Yeah. He doesn't want to become like his father.
And so he wants to make a deal with Edgar, and so he gets in contact through, you know, whoever, and they're gonna have a meeting. Meanwhile, the kid is having some trouble. He's missing his mum, which is something that should have been pretty clear. I still want to highlight how funny I thought it was that the square face lady is her hair's falling out this season. That's just for a gag, I guess, that her hair's falling out.
I suppose, or that she was pulling it out, or that it was it's stress related.
Yeah, she's really stressed out. It's just like, all right. Not sure, like, she got herself quite a decent chunk of screen time for someone who's, like, I'm not sure what they're up to with her, just outside of showing someone getting stressed. It's like, okay.
The only thing that I could think of any note with her would be when Maeve's in bed and she walks in on her, and Maeve just said, like, act human for once.
Yeah, that was...
like, that's, like, the only thing that's even noteworthy about her this whole season was that one thing, but so far they haven't done anything with it, so who knows what they'll do?
I guess season 3 will almost be like season 2 part 2, if you know what I mean, because, like, there's so much that hasn't been accounted for, but also at the same time loads of stuff has been accounted for. It's really strange, because of course the lady who's been blown up heads is just this huge question mark. Yeah, they hang out in planet Vought, I think it is, and the kid can't handle there being so many people, so they leave. That's not, like, there's not much there to really go over, but the interesting part is next. If you remember, A-Train just fucking jumps into their car while they're driving. Not at all a criticism of it being impossible, just what do you think, like, why would you do this? First of all, they're gonna freak out while they're driving because they think you're trying to kill them.
Yeah.
So like, you're risking a shit ton by doing that. Then there's wouldn't you go for them when they're, like, alone or even in a corridor?
No, you go for them when they're in the middle of a busy city, and then just talk to them on the street and hand over the insanely important documents to them just here.
Like the relatively world-changing documents.
While all these people are, you know, wanted and all that stuff.
Yeah, Starlight is, like, ex-Vought wanted criminal, Huey is too, and A-Train is seen on the street just chatting with them and handing them a bunch of files. And I just, you know, this is sort of like the peak they don't give a fuck anymore. It's just let them have their scenes, and you're like, right. But yeah, of course, if A-Train hadn't decided to eavesdrop, if Stormfront had decided to let him back into the Seven, if those files weren't kept in the Collective, they were instead burned, if A-Train had no access to them, if A-Train hadn't decided to take a huge risk and burn Stormfront,
If Stormfront didn't just keep all of this stuff in a trunk in a room, just right there.
Oh, right. Well, that's the funny thing. Stormfront keeps what seem to be similar files in a literal trunk in her room in Vought Tower, while A-Train must have gone through a lot to get the files from the collective. It's just funny that he could have grabbed them whenever he wanted from her room, like, because she just keeps them there. And of course that was done so she could explain it to Homelander, but I just find it fucking fascinating that she has those on hand. It's just something that you probably want to keep secret. And yeah, I want to really push that you see this scene. There's people walking right by these three. All of them are world famous.
Oh yeah, like it's shot. It's like, of all the places, this is the worst place to be, in the middle of there's a busy city, people are walking around.
Fascinating. And yeah, so I think that's most of the pins. Oh yeah, there's the last thing to set up before all the payoffs start rolling in. So the deal between Butcher and Edgar is that Butcher will separate the child from Homelander, because Homelander currently has him and Vought don't want it that way. Because, oh yeah, I guess I should start with, it's made official in this scene. Yeah. The child is Vaught's attempt to control Homelander, and what I mean by that is that he's the contingency. The child is created to kill Homelander and to be controlled as their main superhero. That is the point. That's what Edgar was referring to earlier in the season, when he said that Homelander is not their most valuable sort of thing. At least I think that's the subtext of the scene. Because of course Compound V is really important. Other things, but yeah, the kid that's the point of the kid, which is something that I think we'd theorized already, but just
I either that was a contingency, or he really was just like just around. The kid wasn't a plan.
Well, that's why they love which
is what I was leaning towards, because if you're gonna have a contingency for Homelander, you started fucking late.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's I think we talked about it on a different stream at some point, but the idea that you grew Homelander in a lab and you never had a failsafe, not one.
Like, you knew what you were trying to do, and you succeeded, basically.
This is a all-powerful, unstable creature that you've created, and you've got no way of stopping it. It's just like, wow, that's smart.
That's Vought smart.
And so the idea is that Butcher will separate them. Vought will kidnap the kid, and they will keep him safe. They will keep him secure. Which, I guess we have to go through this piece by piece. Like, how do you expect to keep him secret? Homelander will just burn through everybody in Vought until he finds him again.
Yeah, they even reference, like, oh, a mom will do anything to protect her kid. It's like, yeah, so will Homelander.
I think Homelander
so will the dad.
Would do.
He's just gonna let you get away with it?
And before anyone says anything, this is before the leverage is even, with the airplane is a thing, and we can get to that too, but this is before that exists, so you can't use that. So it's absurd that they think they can hide the kid and that Homelander will just be around. Butcher even says that what you need to tell the woman, the wife, is that Homelander will get to the kid if you get to the kid. And it's like, why wouldn't Homelander just kill her and Butcher at that point? Why wouldn't he torture them until they get... Like, it's... They pretend like Homelander will just go away. If you're... And by the way, the reason I say this is because if you remember in episode 4 or 5, they say hopefully Homelander will get bored as a response to him having found his son. That's Vaught's involvement. Hopefully he gets bored.
It's just like... It's the Game of Thrones Iron Fleet just sort of, oh, I guess she just forgot. Or, oh yeah, we'll just say that they think Homelander gets bored. Like, what? Come on.
And so you're probably thinking, like, okay, so what's the rest of the plan? It's like, Butcher wants the wife back and to live happily ever after. And he thinks that after having made this deal with Vought that she would want to be with him?
Yeah, because remember, last time they... the idea that she would just let go of Ryan is, like, obviously not.
Butcher's, like, shocked to discover... Well, not really shocked. When he explains that he made the deal, she's, like, really pissed at him. It's like, yeah, because like she loves the sun. Like, did you not think about that? I guess not. Chat is saying Black Noir is a failsafe. Black Noir is not looking to be the comic version, which is the I don't think you're gonna mind, but
I don't mind.
Black Noir is a clone of Homelander in the comics, and he ends up killing Homelander in the comics. So whatever they're doing with the show, it doesn't look like he's a clone. You can let's just say that.
I mean, because he did have that fucked up face.
Well, I thought it was scarred, but he was also black, like very clearly black. I don't know if they're gonna
Yeah,
go.
but he had something going on. Like either he's a goofy looking Snoke clone looking thing. But I don't know. I don't really know what they're gonna do here.
Yeah. It's not impossible, but they're not accounting. Their most valuable thing is the kid, and they're not rolling out Black Noir now. And obviously, I'm referring to prior to him being in a coma. It speaks to me that the show isn't planning that yet, or at least it doesn't know it's that plan yet. I'd say that's going to be a problem if they end up doing it, though.
Yeah, and I don't know if the guy that's supposed to kill Homelander is taken out by Almond Joy. I don't
well, but
think.
See, that's actually something I think would make sense to put in Homelander. An Almond Joy, because it's like, oh, you can actually kill him whenever you want.
Yeah, this
and nobody would know it.
Yeah, like he's not going to bump into it like in his job or anything. It's a very specific thing, but you have to know to apply that to him. It's like what I was saying during the episode, like the idea that they created Homelander without his weakness being some like specific chemical or something like that he's super weak to is insane. That they didn't do that.
And I would say, you wouldn't have to make it literally Almond Joy. You can make it like something very, very specific, and you'd think they would do that because they have full control. He's like a test tube baby. It's weird, but yeah, the stakes are raised. Vought are like, yeah, you're gonna have to keep Homelander away for us so we can capture the kid and keep him secret. For all the reasons we just mentioned, that doesn't make sense, but they agree to it. That is the plan. And so the first question is, wait, what are you gonna do with Homelander? Like, the boys? What's the plan there? And this is something that I'm gonna have to rewatch the episode for, maybe even the whole season, because I just don't really get it. They're gonna play a sound really loud or really high frequency. It's gonna annoy people with good hearing, and that's the plan. Gonna hopefully drag Homelander away to go and deal with it, and
which takes them shockingly long.
Yeah, they're just hoping that will be enough. Now, unfortunately, Homelander says in the show that he can travel faster than the speed of sound. And this is like a record he set. So I don't understand what took him so long, like, and why they would expect it to work. And
yeah, he is shockingly fast, and he doesn't discover this sound thing and then get back in all of the sweet time that they take getting Ryan and the mom.
So yeah, the plan's enacted. Oh, and then we come to the good scene. Homelander explains to his son that, like, not being as strong as you want to be compared to where you are now is normal and natural, and that this is the Homelander I've always wanted in this scene.
Yeah, that scene with Homelander talking to Ryan was really good, and I liked it a bunch. It's a shame that Homelander can't be taken seriously as a character anymore.
And yeah, because I think my dream version of Homelander is essentially pride is his major sin. He's incredibly intelligent. He's hyper aware of how to operate in real life to get what he wants, but he doesn't actually care about anyone but himself. And then the interesting thing is to give him a son and see how he behaves with him. And that scene was how I would like to see him behave. But then you get that, like, comparatively, who is Homelander in this show? It's that last scene you get with him in this episode where he's, like, wanking on a city. while saying like, I can do whatever I want. I could do whatever I want. It's like, oh man.
Except the last time we saw you in a scene, you couldn't. I guess next to last. Yeah, like someone has leverage over you and you can't do whatever you want. It's one of those things. The show seems really juvenile.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that makes me just kind of roll my eyes.
And yeah, scenes like that kind of annoy me because it's just like, oh man, they could have done it. They just didn't. I guess they're hoping you'll really laugh when he's having himself a big ol' flying while almost laser eyeing and just wanking away. That's our Homelander. It's really hard to be intimidated by him when you think of those scenes.
Yeah.
Guess it's like, So, yeah, the boys suit up. They've got, an RPG with, like, something electrical attached to it to deal with Stormfront. They've got an EpiPen to deal with A-Train. They got Almond Joys ready to deal with Black Noir. And is that it? I think that's, yeah, because they don't really account for Homelander.
They never account for Homelander.
Yeah, they just say like, we're just gonna play an annoying sound and that'll deal with Homelander. It's like, what do you
They never have a plan for Homelander.
The idea that you can come up with a plan to deal with the supes and that's why they're so confident, it's like, if you don't knock out Homelander, the rest don't fucking matter. It's baffling that they never ever deal with it. They're always just like, Homelander, I don't know, we'll play a stereo at him, hee. And, yeah, of course, this eventually starts a problem for them. Small scene is that they're trying to get, the Homelander's trying to get his son to laser, a little doll as, like, a figurine, as like, a little test. I guess it's kind of funny. I think the doll is the Deep.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, that's neat, I guess. But before we get to the absolute fucking cringe... they've aimed the figurine in a way that he will laser the house if he was successful. It's like, it's such a small thing. We're just like, why would you be that stupid? Then again, it is Homelander, and he's kind of a dumbass. So he's trying to encourage him to do the laser, and he says, "Hey, imagine it's someone you hate," which was a bit weird.
Yeah, it's odd. I don't think he'd even have anyone to hate.
And I don't know if this kid would want to laser somebody, and of course, that's why it ties into the end of the episode, is he does laser it, but this is clearly not a kid that'll get encouraged by you telling him, hey, imagine you hate that person so you can kill them. It's just like, he's clearly not been brought up that way, so whatever. And then Stormfront says, there are people out there who want to kill us because of the color of our skin. It's the white genocide. I was like, wait, what? What?
It's pretty easy to tell who the fucking writers are.
It's such a weird moment, and Homelander winks at her after she says it. And I'm like, when did this happen? That, like, is Homelander on the team that, yeah, those people that come in to kill white people? Like, what? It's, this thing we like to call allegory. In this world. Stormfront was supposed to be something like that, but the line between text and subtext got blown apart pretty quickly. And with that line and other ones, it is fucking awkward to watch this show. You just sort of sit there like, ooh. I don't know what else to say. Like, just...
Yeah, this season, far more than the last one, but this season was very explicit in who they're gunning for and the kind of talking points they go through and who they're aiming to please. You could tell who wrote this show.
So then we have the photos are released of her being with Hitler, and they call them leaked images, and I'm just like, how wasn't this already like something that would have at least been theorized? Like, first of all, that she came out of nowhere, like, it's very suspicious. I already think that people would have figured out that she was Liberty. It took us like 5 seconds after they showed us, like, even a clip of Liberty. The fact is, Liberty looks just like she does. Like, we didn't even see her face, and we guessed it. So it's like, how would people not have figured that out? And then they'd be like, well, this is really fucking weird. But she was married to the CEO of Vought. Like, I don't understand how you wouldn't be like, wow, her and her, they look exactly the same. And she randomly disappears, and her history is really murky. But of course, this is a huge leak that she was in any way related to the Nazis. But they, of course, have a picture of her with Hitler, which, you know, she's done.
Of course, obligatory picture with Hitler. But yeah, with her face and her being married to the Vought, weird that it isn't already known. Especially with her face on everything.
And how doesn't that damage Vought significantly in terms of she's apparently like a monster confirmed, and she was married to the guy who began and resided over all of Vought for so long, but Vought somehow spin this by the
They're
end?
untouchable. Vought can do anything they want because we need to have our evil mega superhero corporation, so they can just do whatever.
Yeah.
Like, Vought never gets punished for any of the shit that they do. And is that supposed to be some commentary on corporations just get away with it?
I guess
which
so.
which they don't oftentimes, by the way. But or is it just the terrible writing of the show that they pull up these stupid kind of excuses for why all of this stuff happens and Vought gets caught and nothing happens? Like, they try to push too hard too fast and they just want to get back to where things were.
This part, it really blows my mind logistically. So Homelander and his kid are in the house. They hear the sound. Homelander is almost immediately like, I'm going to go find it and destroy it. He flies past where the boys are in order to get it, which is something they could have set up, surely. And so with that, they are signaled to drive to the house. Now again, with how fast Homelander is, the amount of time it would take them to drive from wherever they are to the house is going to be
much longer.
Insanely longer.
Yeah, especially they can't travel nearly as fast, and they can't travel in a straight line like him. It's just absurd.
But of course, they get to it, they search the place, they grab him, they explain what's going on. They certainly take their time with that. And they get in the car, and they leave. And this whole time, Homelander is just finally landing, looking around. He finds these sound devices, and he's like, huh, weird. Destroys them, and then starts heading back. And of course, Butcher decides that it's better if the kid and the mum go with Mallory instead of Vought now, because he wants them to be together, I'm guessing. I can't quite remember what his reasoning is. The important part is that he calls for Vought to arrive at the house to pick up the kid, and of course they do, but unfortunately for them, they're going to have to deal with Homelander now, which is funny to me, because I'm like, why would they expect anything else?
Yeah, of course. You know what Homelander could do, and instead of I'm weird because I thought the SWAT team guys would say, "Yeah, we heard that you know, we had this alarm go off that he'd been taken, and so we were nearby, just kind of keeping watch over things, and we showed up because we thought he was in trouble." Yeah, do you know where he is?
Think like a hack writer, Rags. You've missed a really important and clever thing that they did. Homelander moves into the room. All of the dudes there are like shocked that he's there because they know what's going on, but he doesn't. So of course they could lie in many different ways, but do you remember what happens? Do you remember?
The phone.
Someone says, "Hey, have you got the kid yet?" on the radio. It's like, oh, too bad. How unlucky.
I'm just like, I don't know why they would have that sort of shit said.
Why wouldn't it be
like,
radio
why are you not radio silent?
Yeah.
Like, it's this stupid shit. It's this stupid fucking shit.
Every time to make everything work the way they want. And so, for some reason, right, you need to know, these people know fuck all. They knew they had to deal with Butcher. It's gone wrong. Which, by the way, it's so stupid. Vought, from Vaught's POV, they're gonna get a call from Butcher to kidnap the kid. It's on Butcher's word that they're gonna get rid of Homelander. Like, Vought have... Can you imagine that? Like, oh, you could get rid of him? Yeah, I could get rid of him. Oh, good. Like, I'm curious how, but I'm sure you can do it. And yeah, so it doesn't work out. And of course Homelander's there, and he, for some reason, bursts them all into flesh all over himself.
Yeah, because because him being covered in blood makes it better for that last scene with him and the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Makes him look spoopy.
And it's just odd, because of course he would have, I guess, harshly tortured a few of them to really get the information, when all he had to do was listen, real hard, and he would have found within the area where his son is, where a bunch of people are. But instead he tries to torture all these people, which keeps him busy for a little while longer, because of course we need Butcher and his wife to have a really long conversation. So this gets kind of weird, logistically again, because Stormfront's gone to Vought to find out that her life is ruined with the Nazi pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just lands back down in front of MM and the kid and the mum's car, and it's just like, why did she come back? I guess she was done at Vought. I don't know.
Yeah, where was she going? Was she trying to get to Homelander? If so, why didn't she stop with him? Why did she stop here? I don't know how it is she arrived at that particular place.
Yeah, she just came back to them directly, and we have our first big sort of what I would call more of an impactful superhero fight, which it just dawned on me how little of that there is in this show. We barely ever see superheroes fight each other.
Yeah,
not that they have to. I just thought it was interesting to think about.
It does stand out as being a thing. I think they probably want to avoid it because of the precedent it might set between future potential fights, and then there's the aspects of like, how do you actually do the fight of these super powerful people and try to keep it really realistic, which they don't, but I would see why they'd want to keep that limited.
Yeah. So the fight begins, and it's about as good as every fight in The Boys, where people are not using their powers properly, like, ever. At one point she zaps Starlight, and Starlight just... It's the kind of writing tool where, like, Starlight will now stay down for as long as we need her to stay down. And it's a while, by the way. She just sits and stares at Kimiko fighting Stormfront until Stormfront breaks her neck. Which doesn't kill her, because which is fine by me. Kimiko.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, she has super regeneration, resilience. Yeah, part of what's been established. Yeah.
But I think we could have had a bigger reaction from Frenchie.
Yeah, sort of...
He does shoot her. I just mean, like, you'd think he'd go, no, like that sort of thing. Maybe he knew she'd survive it. Either way, Starlight is conveniently just down for the count right up until Kimiko's dead, and then she's back up, and they stop fighting again. It just annoys me with these kinds of fights. Just zap, boom, zap. And right when it all seems over, right when there could be nothing, Maeve is just there. I don't know if she has super speed, but she didn't seem to be anywhere. She just sort of turns up. Maybe I'm misremembering it, but how would Maeve know to be here?
Yeah, that's the other thing. We knew that she'd be Maeve Ex Machina. We called it the first time. Then there's the other time.
I'd have to. There must have been a line where they said something about where they were going to be, right? Because like it's just absurd that she would. Oh, maybe she followed Stormfront. That's probably it. Wait, how could she follow Stormfront? Stormfront can fly. Like.
So, trying to think.
Yeah, because I was just thinking she was in Vought Tower. She saw Stormfront enter Vought Tower to look at like the Nazi shit. So how the hell did she get here in time? Who took her here?
Because she seems to be on her own. I didn't see a. She used.
It's someone just said she saw it and followed her. It's like she followed a person who can fly at potentially the speed of sound. Like, how does Maeve do that?
Super run. Maeve can super run fast. She's very fast. She can really run quick.
I'm just gonna have to. I'm gonna wait a little bit, see if chat have any answers for this one, because this might be like major. Thinking about it now.
Yeah, we might.
I need answers. Chat, help me out.
Someone said, "Don't the 7 have trackers?"
Well, but again, she would never be able to get there in time.
Yeah, even if she knew where she was. Yeah,
if that's if she has access to that information without having to go through certain like procedures or protocols. And then how does she get there? I don't know.
And also, I guess now the trackers are a plot thing. All right.
Yeah, they conveniently forget about the trackers all the time.
Yeah, the one with Starlight, they just fucking flat out.
And I guess like, I want you to remember, Stormfront gets into a fight about a couple of minutes after she lands, right? So how the fuck would she have gotten there so quickly after her? Some people saying she can fly in the comic. It's like she can't fly in the show.
Well, here, yeah, Homelander's got a carrier.
She got there because of bad writing. She just turned up. She needed in the plot, and that moment. I have the answer. It's bad writing. Is that it then? Because like
girls get
I
it
feel
done.
like
That's how. Yeah, basically.
I feel like there has to be a fucking answer. She can't have just
You used her invisible jet. I like that reference.
Hey.
Yeah, there we go. I like that.
So yeah, the reason why that might be the biggest flaw in the whole show, by the way, because she facilitates two really important payoffs. That being Stormfront essentially getting beaten instead of Stormfront killing Kimiko, the boys, and Starlight. And then she also facilitates...
That fight was a lot...
Yeah, Stormfront chooses to stop using her electricity, much like Starlight stopped using her electric power against Black Noir. This shit frustrates the hell out of me. I want you to actually remember what these people can do.
Well, what was Starlight pulling her power from?
In that scene, I don't know, the car, I guess.
The car got blown up.
Maybe you can draw stuff from stuff that's blown up still.
The fire?
She can fly in Season 1, she lands in front of a truck. She can't fly in Season 1.
Like the very first time we see her?
I'm pretty sure she's just in front of it. I don't think she flies into it.
Because if she can fly, then how come like Homelander has to carry her and everything later?
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure she can't fly.
I mean, I could double check.
Yeah, go ahead. So they beat Stormfront, and then she flies away. It takes her a long time to fly away, but she eventually does. Now, I want you to pause, okay? I want you to pause. What is Stormfront's goal now? I suppose
at this point?
Yeah, so Stormfront was about to be beaten to death by 3 superheroes. She flies up in the air. Now what's her goal? Like, you'd think to just get away. that's kind of where I'm getting at. It's like...
Also, no, she doesn't fly. She's running on the sides of buildings, and then she jumps down.
Oh, well then, yeah, she wasn't flying. She has super jump. Super jumping is not going to be anywhere fucking close to flying. It's just not the same.
Yeah, they show she jumps down from... I could see why you'd think it's flying, but they in a scene before this, they established that she's running along the side of a building.
That isn't flying.
Well, actually, she can like super jump
with style,
I guess. So let's see here.
You have wall run.
Yeah, maybe she jumps up onto the side of a building and then like wall runs for a moment, and then she jumps back down. So she hops.
Well,
I guess she can jump around.
So Stormfront now decides that the main goal she has is to get the kid. Not sure why. She seemed to turn up to kill the boys, and then she was like, now that I can't kill the boys, I guess I will kidnap the kid. And she relies on the idea that the kid likes her. It's a really odd moment, because I don't know what the fuck Stormfront's up to. Like, of all the things she could intend to do. And, she's... Think of this situation. You're... A kid you've known for less than, like, a day is someone you want to kidnap.
Really spent...
Yeah. The kid is behind their mother, who they have made explicit they miss and love. And you are a horrible psychopathic murderer person, and you walk up to the kid with your arms stretched out saying, hey, come with me, come with me.
Also, you're beaten up, you're staggered a bit.
And this is after you've electrocuted their dad, by the way. She just flew up and found him. She just found him.
Alright, that's fair enough.
Super hearing,
matches the rest of the show. Yeah.
And then she gets stabbed in the eye.
Yeah, she just gets stabbed in the eye. Just like that. Apparently that's... Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's something you want to avoid, because it's just like, damn. Also, this will be amusing.
Oh my god.
Yo.
Hello.
You got banned on Twitter?
Yeah, for like 6 days.
Damn. Oh no.
Because Mark Hamill said something about the vice presidential debate. He said Like there was a fly that landed on Mike Pence, that whole dumbass meme, and Mark Hamill tweeted, "Yeah, that's Mike Pence with his only black friend," and I'm like, and
wow.
I tweeted at him. I said, "Oh yeah, the Negro is like flies, buzz, buzz."
Yeah.
Well, that's a well-deserved ban. Out you go.
Well, that's what got me banned from Twitter. I was arguing an egalitarian position against somebody, and I got banned. So yeah,
racism, both of you. Out you go. You should have stuck to memes. So you just finished watching the finale, right?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It was okay.
We've been ripping it to shreds.
I mean, like the thing with like Becca and Butcher, how Butcher was like, "All right, come with me," and then Becca was like, "No, I want to stay here." And as soon as Becca needs him for something, she flips the script and is like, "No, come with us, like be with me. Don't." People's motivations just change for the sake of the plot. I didn't like that.
I mean, we're going chronologically right now. We're almost to the end, so we'll probably just talk about these last few scenes a bit more and jump in as you want, and then we can just talk about the season for a bit if you want. We just got to the part where Stormfront got stabbed in the eye, and she makes this face. You know, I want this to be in my thumbnail, I think, for something in the future. Just look at that face.
She looks like an old pirate. Old angry pirate.
Oh shit, hang on chat, I'll try and show you it. Fucking accidentally hit play so I can't see it anymore.
It's weird that her mouth is clean, considering in that fight she got the shit beat out of her for a long time and blood was coming out of her mouth quite a bit.
It's like a continuity thing as well, because yeah, she was definitely bleeding out of her mouth at one point, but that, you know, whatever, I guess. There it is. She's looking annoyed. So that's a Nazi for you. She's getting what she deserves.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Punch a Nazi, everyone. So yeah, were you not confused by this point, in terms of what Stormfront was up to? She's like clearly very injured, and she's like, "I'm gonna kidnap the kid now." And she tries to do it with care and love, like, "Come with me, Ryan. You want to be with me." It's like, what are you doing? You can't appeal to him this way.
Like, clearly he wasn't too high on you.
Yeah, he's clearly not a fan. And you got to be careful, because that kid, did the Homelander warn you? He's like, when you make him angry, he does stuff. So, you know, careful. Of course, she didn't take that advice had it been given, because she ends up very strange. This whole scene is odd to me. She's annoyed now. She's been stabbed in the eye, and she's going to strangle the wife to death in front of her child after having electrocuted Butcher, and she's going to talk slowly about how much she's going to enjoy it. It's just like, okay. I guess you just want to...
It's just like Villain 101.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Butcher's like behind her, like belting her, like, "Dude, he's not budging! Go away!
Why don't you just
get out of there?"
Butcher, just stab her in the other eye with your crowbar.
Yeah. I guess her eyes are her weak point, and she's never been hit in the eye by like a bullet or shrapnel or something.
As much as she's really powerful beyond her eyes, if you make her blind, she's not neutralized, but man, that's going to make a huge difference. But of course, the kid gets very angry, and he lasers her, and he knocks off her 2 legs and 1 of her arms, I think. And her face gets all flumed up as well.
Fried, yeah.
She got fucked up.
He did that to her, and so when this happened, I was watching it with Rags, I was like, so the mum's dead then? Because, like, there's no way you'd be able to do all of that without hurting her. Or blasting her away. In fact, I'm really curious what the logistics are. If you think of a person is holding another person, and you laser in such a way that you knock off the legs and arms and face of one,
just
and then
one of the arm.
Yeah.
I said legs and arm and face.
Oh.
But then on the other person, you hit them in the neck, and that's it. Just, like, I don't know. It's a bit of a weird.
And Butcher was right behind her. So how did he not catch any heat?
And as we were, yeah, I know that too. But as we were shown earlier in the season, she regens really quickly from the laser blast to her chest, right? But she doesn't do any regen in this episode, and she just starts rambling in German. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, show?
He's a Nazi. That's what they do when they're injured.
Flogen, Hitler.
Hitler, Deutschland.
The white race and everything.
The white race. The evil Nazis.
So, the wife is like bleeding profusely out of this neck wound. It's like, wouldn't it? How does that work when you get burned? Surely it wouldn't be bleeding, or at least not like that. Surely it'd be cauterized. That's a lot of people are confused about that one.
Yeah, I don't see how she's just like bleeding from a neck wound instead of being just burned along the side of her neck, which seems like it would like be super painful and leave a nasty scar, but you should be okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. She's just and she's gone. And so, and like Butcher has this like incredibly like I'm gonna fuck the kid up for doing this face, which was kind of funny to me because I'm like, you know, he has superpowers, right? Like,
yeah, you're not gonna win this, old man.
But then Homelander turns up, and you're like, is that believable? It's like, well, yeah, I guess so, because if you remember, Homelander has super hearing. There was lasers, there was screaming, there was anger. I think there's enough for him to hear, and so this would be a point of compliment to the show, if not the fact that they only ever use that when they need it. They ignore it whenever they don't need it. Homelander's hearing is very selective. He seems really sad that Stormfront's died, by the way, or is dying, but it's really unclear what he thinks about it overall in the show. Like, he's like, really upset, but then you're like...
Yeah, he basically forgets about her.
He says, like, when he's doing the announcement that she was behind it all, he seems frustrated. But then his last scene is him wanking over a city. When you'd think his last scene would be him, like, walking into a dark room where she's being kept, and then him announcing, like, what he's gonna do next season about all of this. But no, he's just having a wank.
Yeah. Yeah, really that scene does not fit. Does not fit the tone of the show at all. That was in the comics. And that was considered one of the extra plot, one of the things that happen in the comics. And in fact, they try to shove it in this slightly more grounded show. Just doesn't fit.
I just don't think they ever quite get exactly what they want to do with Homelander. It's like he's two characters. Sometimes, anyway. Most of the time, he's just an idiot. So yeah. He's like, give me my son. And then Butcher's like, no. And he's like, well, I guess I'll kill you then. Which is like, it's been a while, but finally. It's like, just get it over with. Unfortunately, Deus Ex Maeve, she literally pops into existence just to the left. She's like, hello. Like, oh my god.
Can she fly?
No.
Oh, that makes it even funnier.
It's so odd. She's just there. And you remember, right? The last time we saw her, she was beating up Stormfront with the boys. And, well, the team, the boys, you know? And then she's here. So it's like, where are the rest of them? And how did any of you find this place? How'd you find them? What's going on? And then Maeve's just like, I have leverage. You'll do whatever I tell you to do now. And it's like, oh. Alright. And, there's this exchange of dialogue where he's like, I'm gonna destroy everything. And then she's like, I don't care. No one will love you anymore. And that makes him realize, like, that's enough of a threat that'll work for him. And I said to Rags, in a good show, that'd have been a good payoff.
Yeah, if you take away all of how we got here and all of the stuff and details, it would have been good. Like it's like that scene where he's talking to Ryan and comforting him. Like, man, this scene doesn't deserve this show, or this show doesn't deserve this scene, basically.
Yeah. Because the problem with Homelander overall is he's destroyed his own ability to draw pride, like appreciation out of people several times. He's like an idiot when it comes to this sort of thing. He's really bad with social interactions. He constantly says and does things in places that are open or, you know, recordable that would destroy his reputation. If you remove all of those elements and you had him constantly strong and admirable, and in this one moment he's like, I will destroy this world if you release that. I'll destroy everything. And then you threaten the fact that he'll lose all the love of the people, which is like one of his biggest things that he wants. It's like, yeah, that's good. but there's more. I guess there's to it other than just how they got there. Someone said, because Maeve is superhuman. Is that to explain how she got there? Because she's superhuman?
Yeah, that's.
People are superhuman in different ways, right?
Man, dude, the writers would love an audience like that. You could just say, "Why did this happen?" Because superhero.
Yeah, it's a superhuman.
I mean, can she run? Can she run really fast? No,
nope.
I think she could like jump really fast.
Kind of like the Hulk, where he jumps.
Kind of.
Oh, it'd be so fucking hilarious if she made a big ass jump and just landed on Homelander.
But I don't know the extent of it, because she could jump, but she could jump onto buildings and walk over glass and not break it, so it can't be that hard. So
and yeah, so then that's it for like the main part, and then the rest of it is just wrapping up, and the wrapping up is insane. Like, first scene we get, Maeve and Starlight are cleared and instated. They're both part of the Seven. It's all good. Homelander is claiming that Stormfront was behind it all, so a Vought. She was the one who was doing all kinds of attacks. She's the one who blew people's heads up. She's the evil Nazi, and she's been dealt with, or they've got her captured, and she will be punished.
Yeah, the literal wife of the founder of the company is doing all this stuff. Vought as a company, totally fine.
Totally fine. Yeah, nobody really knew about it. It's like, yeah, well, that's how it works, I guess. Then we cut to the Deep and A-Train. We're finally going to get the end of the Deep's arc. The long-awaited. He's going to get reinstated to the Seven. Except no, they're going to reinstate A-Train because he showed initiative and in grabbing those files, and the collective have gained leverage in a way with this woman who's running for Senate, and they're hoping to use the fact that they exposed, it was technically related to them that they exposed Stormfront as a Nazi, that they're gonna get better tax status, I guess, with her potentially as a co-optional thing. And A-Train is going to be back in the Seven while the Deep can fuck off. This whole season was a joke for the Deep. It was all leading to him getting back to the Seven, then they go, nah, lol. Which,
yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I was like, damn, you spent a long time on that joke.
Yeah, it was. First off, none of the scenes with the Deep were funny. Just to be clear, none of them. None of it was funny. None of it was amusing. The show's humor is basically non-existent. It's super juvenile. If you laugh at this, good for you, I guess. But they wasted so much time. And, I mean, time is like real estate when you got a show. Like, you've only got so much of it. And the fact that they spent so much of it on the Deep just to have this happen, you're like, oh, well, I guess we'll see what shenanigans they have him do in the next season.
Yay.
I guess.
Do these three not have the brain cells to make any connections? No, man. I couldn't make any sense of all of this. I'm sorry. The show is too big brain for me. I got lost.
Someone said I was expecting a Fresca payoff. Dude, me too. I was unironically waiting for the point where they explained what the fuck's going on with Fresca. And I think it was all in service of him saying at the end, Fresca sucks.
MauLer, disagree on Homelander. He was one of the most consistent and interesting characters this season. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Look, he started off interesting, and like when he twisted off his doppelganger's head, I was like, okay, some shit's about to go down. Finally, we're really gonna get Homelander unmasked and get it, like he's gonna be even crazier. But no, he gets some pussy and then he bitches up, and he kind of like he's middling. He's kind of like going along with Stormfront the whole time. He doesn't really have his own agency. Not really.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot throughout the whole season. He's a fucking idiot. He just every choice he makes. Oh, it's baffling to me a lot of the time.
Yeah.
A lot of people who've been talking about how much they don't like this season, a lot of them have been saying it's because they've ruined Homelander, so that'll be a conversation going forward.
Seems like a really overt thing. You think they'd want to make sure that Homelander was a character they put a lot of effort into keeping together?
If it wasn't for Anthony.
Yeah, him and Butcher are the main appeals character-wise, I'd say.
Yeah,
if it wasn't. Oh, sorry.
No, right. Even though I don't care what happens to either of them now. Like, they ruined Butcher at the last moment, basically, of the first episode. So, like, I just don't. Yeah. Same with
I mean,
Starlight, by the way.
mhm.
Yeah.
I don't think they're ever gonna bring that up again.
No.
They're just gonna forget that she's a murderer.
If it
Hey man,
wasn't
he got in the
for
way.
Anthony, if it wasn't for Anthony Starr's and Carl Urban's performances, people, there'd be a lot more people vocal about how they kind of fucked up their characters.
Yeah, I feel like the comic people should be a lot more angry with this show, because it seems to have fucked over the comics quite significantly. Not that I've read them, but that's all I've heard.
Yeah. I have no idea about the comics either.
So yeah, they have A-Train back, but the Deep isn't. Deep's upset, but he just leaves because the Deep is a joke, and I'm sure the next season he's gonna have loads of funny moments with him being an idiot.
It'll be
as
hilarious. He'll have his Patton Oswalt gills, and things will be great. And it'll be super funny and very, very hilarious.
And then we get Huey's like, I'm gonna start doing things myself now. I'm not gonna cling to the boys. I don't really care about the rest of that scene, except Starlight, because Butcher is going to try and help the boy, she believes there must be a higher power. I thought that was a weird moment.
That was very weird. Yeah, Butcher did a nice thing, so there must be a god.
He did it because of his fucking wife.
Yeah,
not because
explicit.
I realized
he made a promise
deep
to his
inside.
wife. There's got to be a god because a man is keeping a promise to his wife that he loves. Yeah, that's fine.
And then, so yeah, their relationship is going great. Huey is going to start himself a new job with the senator who's been blowing up heads because she's... I'm not into... Like, what's your take, J-Log, about what the senator's goals are? Or potential congresswoman?
Here's my theory. Like, she pretends to... I don't know what the fuck... What that Vought was crooked? Or like she hates supes too, or does she want a certain? I think she wants like a certain group of supes in control, just not Vought. She probably knows about all the Nazi shit. She probably wants.
Yeah.
She probably wants like progressive supes in charge, not supes that were born and bred from like Nazi, some Nazi from Nazis, from Nazi rule, basically. That's my thought on it. Like this is my my hunch.
So because she's like she has like an Arabic Mediterranean kind of complexion to her. So if it was the whole Nazi angle, it just would seem really weird.
Black Noir taken out by a peanut. What the fuck?
They said he was in a coma.
I can't, like, people who are fans of Black Noir, I feel kind of sorry for you. I don't know. Like,
yeah, it must be rough.
You hear a lot of people defending that. Well, people are allergic to nuts.
It's not that in and of itself, right? Like, I like the idea that an incredibly powerful superhero still has a potentially deadly nut allergy. Like, I like that. It's just, of all the things they could have done with him, like, also, Maeve knows about this power. I wonder if everyone else does, or it's just. Yeah,
apparently comic readers know who she is, but I would be careful to assume that the show will go the direction of the comics. You never know. Yeah, we're gonna have to... Season 3 will be our answers for that one. It'll be interesting to re-look at Season 2 after you get your answers in Season 3 to see if what she does lines up at all. But yeah, Mallory says that they're not wanted men anymore, even for the crimes you actually committed, she says. Like, I guess
they were... Well, Butcher was framed for killing... Well, no.
No, what I'm suggesting is that things they've actually fucked up and done wrong and laws broken and people killed, like, it's all wiped clean. Because I guess they got a clean slate because they helped with Stormfront.
I guess that was part of the deal. I mean, super nice, clean, best possible ending, almost.
Well, it's amazing. Not only are they cleared of all charges of any kind, they've also been given a cushy new place as a part of like the Mallory. White House or some shit, or the person running for Congress, to continue a task force that is designed to go after supes or study and control them.
It makes this episode almost seem like the prequel for the real show.
Yeah. I like that. Yes, that was the deal. Good job. You did it. Like you pointed out what happens in the show, which is what I did too, except I was doing it in a derogatory way because it's fucking stupid. But you were like,
insane.
it's what they said happened, so it happened.
Oh, we believe it happens.
Yeah,
you know, like with the Last Jedi. Like we believe that's Luke now. That's the issue.
Well, the show, they said it was Luke. What do you mean?
I mean, there you go.
The movie called him that. I don't know. But yeah, it worked out real well. Everything's mostly good now. And I still, throughout this whole season, have questioned what the fuck Mallory is like. How is she even alive? How does she have power? It's such a weird dynamic. In the first season, it seemed like she was just in a safe house of sorts, because Vought were trying to kill her. But now she's like a fully fledged, powerful quest giver and character. Mother's Milk gets to go back to his family. Of course he does. Wonderful. Thank goodness. The family that we haven't seen since, was it like the penultimate episode of season 1 where they say like they fucking, the wife hated him because he went back to the boys?
Yeah, and I don't think they've really been talking since. So the fact that he shows up and things are gonna be okay is like, I don't know. It's not really what you told us would kind of happen. Not what we're led to believe. But all right, I guess he gets to explain things or something, and it all works out.
The main defense of the show seems that it's supposed to be bad. Yeah, I agree with you. It's like a lot of the defenses are just like, yeah, that's what it is. Good job, guys. Yeah, that you get to see where just Homelander having a good old jerk off while picking himself up because he needs that. It's
like it goes from that really intense moment at the press conference where he just that zoom in on his eyes and then now he's on a roof jerking off. It's like, what the?
It just comes across as juvenile, and the kind of I know that they wanted to have people laughing and giggling at it, but I'm not 12, so I didn't. Like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, because they say like the comics are really juvenile, and it has that like really edgy bullshit. Like they just do shit for the sake of like shocking people, and that's, like I said, that's one of the things that's from the comics that shouldn't be in the show because it doesn't fit the tone that they're going for on the show.
The person, I forget what the character's name is, running for Congress lady, blows up the head of the collective guy, and I'm not entirely, I was just thinking about like how surely it was beneficial to have him alive because those two had a good relationship, as well as the fact that if you're blowing people's heads up after Stormfront's been captured when she was blamed for all of it, isn't that going to be a problem?
Yeah, that's going to be a big issue because obviously the people who find his body are going to be like, oh yeah, his head was exploded just like all those other people, so I guess it's not Stormfront. Uh-oh. That ruins that. Unless that's maybe her plan. Maybe that's her plan. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
I mean, aren't they going to look at the history on his phone and find out that he probably called her? If I'm assuming that, well, if he wasn't using a burner phone, and if she wasn't, that is.
Maybe she'll be like, yeah, I was talking to him right before he apparently died. It's horrifying. Whoever did it, monstrous.
Which is weird if she's trying to establish... I don't think that's the case because she has no reason to try and establish her innocence for a murder. Like, no one would even think to have her be a suspect. It's weird. But a lot of this comes down to we have no idea what her goal is yet.
Oh, and someone in chat just said, which is quite interesting, her eyes go all white when she blows up her head. How come that didn't happen in the trial?
Yeah, that is something they showed. And if it does happen at the trial, then there's no way people wouldn't notice it.
Well, she has to,
especially with all the cameras happening.
She has to stare at the person and then do it as well. So, and
Yeah,
now
we're gonna have to look
I'm
back
also
at that
wondering
thing.
why she would have killed the speedster. Like, what's the deal there? Was it just random?
Yeah, I guess it's to make Vought look like they wouldn't kill their own people.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it's something you have to look back on. Like, you gotta look back at that scene and analyze the whole thing.
I needed to look at it for something I had to check before, and it's the person to her right that blows up first. and she like ends up like turning at him and screaming as a result of it. So I'm just like, you'll be able to get a good shot of her eyes straight away. I'm not sure it's gonna line up. And now it'll be explained by there's a second person blowing up people's heads. Maybe like, oh god, please stop. So yeah, she was behind it all. The blowing up heads thing. She's got her own game running. She's not a part of the boys or Vought or the FBI or CIA or whatever. She's running her own thing. And all I can gather is that we're gonna find out next season what she's up to fully. So not very satisfying right now for this season, because I'm still kind of just like, what's the deal there? But hey, it's a bait for next time. And they're funded on season 3 as far as I know, so they'll be going right ahead. And that almost closes out. Where are we? Yeah, Huey gets a job with her, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. He wants to take down Vought the right way, which is weird. You'd think he'd be super disillusioned by the fact apparently Vought never gets punished for anything that they do or are caught doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you think he'd fight? You think that would be his dark streak, where he's like, yeah, I guess we're gonna have to go out of the system to get this thing fixed because clearly the real system isn't working. Something to that effect.
Yeah, it's funny. He was talking to Starlight in the car near the end, and he was like, "Oh, I need to stop learning how to cling to shit." No, not in the car. They were in the park, and he said, "I gotta stop learning how to cling to shit." And she thinks like he's breaking up with her, but then he was like, "No, I'm gonna cling to you all I want." Like it was fine. It's like, wait. Like I don't know. Just weird. Like I don't know. They tried to make his realization is like a romantic comedy. Like this should be a fucking serious move for you. Like for your character. What the fuck?
I did just look at it. You can maybe get away with it. She's clearly looking at the people who are exploding, so I'm pretty sure the show is aware that she's definitely doing it, but it looks as if she has to concentrate, though, and she's immediately looking away from them after being done. I don't know. It's not portrayed the same way as it is, which she does in the finale. That's kind of the point.
Also, I think people would notice that eye thing with all the cameras in that room.
Yeah, she'd be staring at them. It looks like, I don't know. It's all very strange. And she kills, you just have to think about some of this, right? She kills the guy who's going to testify about all the horrors that Vought have done, that would have destroyed Vought forever, and her whole campaign on the face of it seems to be trying to destroy Vought forever. So I'm
I'm figuring it's not her real motivation. She's got her own thing she's trying to get done.
Maybe adopt control of the heroes herself.
Maybe she wants government control, but just not through Vought.
Yeah, so I don't know. Finale wasn't very good, but it's about as good as the rest of the season, from what I can tell. I think a lot of people will pick episode 7 as being the worst of the season. I wouldn't blame them.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone was wondering while listening, yeah, we didn't think it was good. We thought it was shit.
Yep, pretty shit.
Yeah.
Very, very, very sloppy writing is the way I'd probably describe it. Very sloppy writing.
Frustrating,
I hate
annoying.
to admit it.
Wish it was better.
Yeah, I do wish it was better. So that the few good little moments actually made sense in their context.
Yeah, remember shows when they, like certain great shows, they have consistent writing all the way through the end? Why can't this show be like that?
What a weird power, by the way. Blow up heads.
Yeah.
Like, just heads, that's it.
If it's like, nah, she just causes, like, some kind of pulse in a particular area. It was like, okay. I don't know. It still just comes across as odd, that's all. Yeah, so, that's just mainly the finale. We'll do a whole thing for the whole season. We'll go through all of the structural issues, the writing issues through the fucking roof. I was mainly in this show for Butcher and Homelander, and now that season 1 and 2 are done, I'm pretty much done with both of them.
Yeah. Are we gonna check out season 3?
Probably. I'll be curious to see how much more they fuck it up. What else they plan on doing? Because like it's the Jenga thing. The further they go on, the worse it'll get. I guarantee it. 2 was
that seems to be the case so far.
Yeah, significantly worse than season 1, season 2.
Oh yeah,
losing their fucking minds to the writing in this one, and I think it's kicking off a lot of people now. Season 2 already. Season 3 will probably be the one that is the worst. Like it just seems to be a pattern. It happened with Westworld. Happens. I'm trying to think of like all the different examples, but like I suppose Game of Thrones wouldn't be fair exactly, because it died several times. Like season 5 is the earliest sort of season where everyone felt it went to shit. Either way, wasn't happy, and you know, what else can you say?
You just feel empty, like
yeah.
Man,
I don't feel like I'm certainly not in the camp of wow, that was great. Can't wait for the next season. I have to ask, like, are we even bothering with the next season or?
Man, I was just thinking, like, A-Train in this season, he is so confused. Doesn't know what he's doing. He wakes up from his coma, and he doesn't tell Vought about what Starlight did. He instead decides to hold it over her for potential. Then he keeps an eye on her, and he finds that she's fucking around with Compound V. And then she says, if you tell anyone about this, I'll expose that you killed Popclaw, even though she has no way of proving it beyond the fact that someone put a syringe in her that went through her bone. Instead of switching have been her. It's like, okay, that's not really enough. And that's a Vought that you're getting that from. It's their forensics report, which I don't know how she accessed, without raising an eyeball or two. So yeah, that's not leverage, but he treats it as such, and then they get exposed.
Also, if he comes out and says, oh, Starlight did all these things, they'd be like, well, how come you didn't tell us earlier? You sat on this for how long just to get personal leverage over her?
For no reason. There's literally no reason he sat on that. And season 2 forgets that A-Train is an asshole. In season 1, he's a piece of shit. He tries like to use Huey's dad to get to Huey, and he's happy to kill them both. He kills Popclaw. Yeah, and he tries to kill Starlight and Huey in the fight at the end.
From the beginning, they show that he's not at all remorseful about anything bad that he does.
He struggles with it, but he commits to being a bad man. That's kind of where I'm going with this. Like, he feels bad about killing Popclaw in season 1, but he does it, is my point.
Oh, I was talking about the first gala, the Huey's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't... He shakes that off entirely, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. That's interesting, actually. Yeah, A-Train is not a good man, but this season, for some reason, he delays releasing the info about Starlight until he is given the leverage not to, which is not good leverage, and you know what I mean? It's so tangled. And then, of course, his heart problems make him so that he's booted out of the 7, and then the Collective pick him up, only to annoy him, right? And then he gets the information from having eavesdropped on them that boots Starlight, Stormfront out of the 7, essentially, and gives them leverage, or gives them the opportunity to make her the reason for everything that's gone wrong this season. You follow him specifically in this season, it is fucking crazy.
Yeah, like the overhearing of conversations is so soap opera. Yeah. Like I was in the bathroom and I accidentally heard you guys like saying that I might get back in, might not, like, and you guys are working together. It's cool and weird, right?
Someone mentioned Maeve. It's like, yeah, what was Maeve doing this whole season? They were trying to commercialize her relationship with a girl who in season 1 seemed like she wanted nothing to do with her. And then they eventually sort of do. Do you remember the scene where she agrees to meet up with like Vaught's marketing team to talk about her relationship publicly with Maeve, and all she does the entire scene is say she doesn't want any of this until she leaves, and it's like, well, how did they get you here? Like, what did they sell you on?
Yeah. Like, what did you think you were showing up for?
It's so weird.
Characters just show up. That's the thing. Characters just show up. That's just the writing. Characters just show up.
They need to be in certain places at a certain time. Yeah, and then Maeve gets really upset about being marketed that way, and she sort of starts sleeping with guys in front of the person who has to market her. It's just, Then that's enough to make her go, you know what, enough is enough. This is a problem with season 1 and 2, to be honest with you. But the fucking plane, she's like, "Oh, Deep, go and fetch me proof of what Homelander did." And just lucky for him, there's a fucking GoPro that's recorded all of it, and it's still intact.
The GoPro survived, not the black box.
The black box did not survive the crash, but the GoPro did.
The thing specifically designed to do exactly that.
And it gives it full leverage over Homelander. And so this is what I mean. What should have been highlighted now about Maeve and A-Train is that they're both plot characters. They're not actually characters. They're only things happen to them, and they make things happen to make other things happen for more important characters the show actually cares about. Those two just they're just sort of items. They're being moved around the board to make certain things happen for other people.
Like, to be fair, Maeve did become a character near the end, like in the finale. Finally, but it's too little too late, you know.
I would say she's always been even with season 1, she was always the character that's like unclear as to what exactly her loyalties are, what she values. They do so little with it. There's very few scenes for Maeve. And because we get the payoffs you'd want, the ones where she like ends up helping the good guys in the end, despite her being, you know, concerned and reserved about it.
Yeah,
it's just
but we called it because it's a movie tropey thing. It's not because we think that's what her character it makes sense that she'd do that. Even though I'm fine with her doing it, it's more the mechanism as to why. Like her just showing up, like inexplicably, just being there.
With the footage on her cell phone.
Preloaded and ready to go.
I mean, because that whole scene, there's so many problems with it in season 1 that Homelander made the decision to do that in that scene. He was so lucky that the black box got destroyed, everyone aboard died, that like none of it managed to get out at all, despite the fact that his lasers were embedded into the fucking cockpit. Like, that scene's bad enough in season 1, unfortunately, but season 2, just pulling it out of its ass, deciding to, like, we need this now, so we're gonna use it. It's just like, damn.
Well, that was one of our issues with season 1, is how there's no way Homelander is in the clear for all the stuff that he does just so haphazardly.
Yeah, and then there's the Deep, as we've been over. He was a joke. He was, the joke is he wants to be in the 7, and he just can't quite get it. Like, that was worth all the time with the Deep, I guess.
Yeah, it's like the Ice Age squirrel. Like, he's just trying to get that acorn, and he just can't do it.
But Ice Age is funny.
Yeah, that's funny. This isn't. This is trash.
Who else is there? Oh, man. Starlight, what a legendary character. Hey, chat, hands up if your favorite character is Starlight. Okay, that's not a fair question. Hands up if she's in your top 10. I'd be curious.
I don't even know if I could make a top 10.
No,
because I'd be counting up from the bottom.
Yeah. What even is Starlight's thing? It's like she's sad.
She just wants to be she's sad because she wants to be a good person in a world that just isn't that good. She just wants to do the right thing, even though she's a murderer. And the show is going to completely forget about that, like it already has, and they'll probably never ever bring it up again that she murdered somebody.
And she got over it in 3 seconds. She had no choice. She's bulletproof. She had to blast him away. She couldn't have... That scene's bad. We'll talk about that in another stream, okay, guys? We're gonna get to it. But yeah, she's barely someone to talk about. Huey, he at the beginning of the season was like chastised for not. He's always like a person. He's not a leader. He's not someone who makes the decisions. He's a floopy dingus. And then by the end, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing things myself. It's so cheesy. Like, congratulations, you had an arc, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like they just pulled that out of their ass at the very end.
Yeah, like, what in the season was like developing that exactly?
Like that he would end up working at a politician's office.
Yeah, I don't know where the fuck that came from. I think it's probably just another.
I
think it's just another plot device so we can like keep following the head blowy chick.
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
I
oh,
think they're just
definitely,
done
yeah.
with him. They just want him to be out of the picture for whatever, easily out of the picture. They're
next
done with him
season-
being the protagonist.
Next season's gonna be like the boys will be, you know, doing shit with superheroes still, but he will be with her, and the plots will cross over until the end of the season where she's revealed to be the big villain or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, he'll find out she's crooked, and then I gotta be with the boys again. Undoing what the fuck the crappy fucking arc he had to begin with.
Hey, look, he needs to stand up on his own too. I don't even, it was so weird. It's like, oh, I'm so clingy with the boys. Like, there was a purpose with the boys. You guys were founded on the idea of stopping evil superheroes. Oh, I'm so clingy. Like, what?
And you were doing a pretty decent job, actually.
And remember how, like, he almost cried? He, like, teared up when talking about how he hasn't seen his dad in so long? We didn't get a scene for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was gone. And also they bring up the mom all of a sudden at the end.
No, she's not bulletproof, just bullet resistant. She can take a 50 cal, but a saw breaks the skin. Rolls eyes. Yeah, we haven't talked.
Oh, I brought that up. I mentioned that.
Oh well, the reason why I had a throwaway thing there was because the scenario we're talking about is in episode 6, where Butcher is about to pull a gun on a guy because they want to take his car. The guy, in getting concerned, pulls his gun. No, I think the guy just pulls his gun in general because they look dodgy.
Yeah, because a bunch of dodgy people telling him that he needs to give him their car in the middle of the woods and leave him stranded there. And of course, if he has a gun to defend himself, he's gonna pull that shit out.
And yeah,
because y'all are trying to rob this guy of his car.
We'll get to all the other parts that's wrong with that. The one part I want to zero in on is you are Starlight. You have super strength, bullet immune skin, essentially, especially to like a pistol.
Oh yeah.
And this guy has his gun aimed, and he doesn't know you're a superhero. I don't think he knows she's Starlight at that point at all. Cause, well, he dies before anyway. So you have many choices, and she decides to blast him with her superpowers and kill him.
Instead of just taking the gun out of his hand.
She could do so many
things.
Super
strong. She's invulnerable essentially to him, and she is super strong, and she murders him.
Yeah, could have disarmed him. Could have like sparked his hand a little bit to pop the gun out of his hand. But
yeah, or just grab it. Just walk towards him and grab the gun. And if he shoots, she's invulnerable to bullets. That Glock ain't gonna do anything to her. And she's sad about it for like 4 seconds.
A lot of people are saying he saw Butcher reaching for his gun first. It's like, yeah, that's fine. I can rewatch it for that. I'm more concerned about the fact that she very negligently had him killed, and her thoughts on the matter are, fucker shouldn't have gotten in the way.
You got to steal his car! You got in his way, bitch!
Dude, the guy was pretty reasonable. He says, I will drive you to the hospital, but I can't be left here in the middle of nowhere and you steal my car. That's not happening. And the funny part is, when they get to the hospital, by the way, they're wanted men, but fuck it. They get to the hospital, he was getting all sorted out. The implication is that, like, they would have driven there and then not needed the car. Like, why couldn't they just let the guy have his car? And
they just want to have that dramatic scene where she kills someone, I guess.
Yeah, she hits him so hard with the light, he falls back, hits his head, he's dead, and she just has a little moment addressing the fact that she's killed someone, and Butcher kind of like, she gets annoyed at Butcher for having respect for having decided, hey, you know, he essentially got himself killed. Fucking fascinating. And, you know, like, these superheroes are not supposed to be like Batwoman. That's not supposed to be what I'm thinking about. I'm supposed to be like, wow,
yeah, how
interesting that someone who wouldn't want to kill anyone through an accident almost gets someone killed. Like, that's a really interesting thing to do. That was it. MM this season, what did he do? All that comes to mind is his story about his dad who killed himself trying to work too hard, I think. He died on his typewriter or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wants to get back to his family.
Who hate him.
Well, I thought they I don't know what's going on with that, yeah.
Didn't they have like periodic phone calls between each other?
Maybe. I feel like I must be missing something, because it's just like, I just remember them having problems big time. He had phone calls with them in season 1. I can't remember if he does in season 2.
He was working on that dollhouse the whole time.
Yeah.
I gotta get this dollhouse back to my baby girl.
Well, in episode 3, the Deep is in Ohio, yet he arrives in the Atlantic, finds them off New York while the boys are on a ticking 30-minute clock. I actually asked, I can't remember who I was talking to, I didn't remember how the Deep found them in episode 3, I need to rewatch it. I don't remember if it was Vought that sent him, or if he did it on his own, and if he did it on his own, how did he find them? I don't know.
I think he did it on his own, so, you know.
Yeah, I'd have to check if there's a throwaway line for how he found them. There's a lot of that, as we've said. A lot of people getting into lots of places where you'd think they can't really do that, but they just do. For example, Lamplighter having access to a room, or everything in Vought, because they left his security clearance in there for some reason.
And no security cameras!
And they they still keep him they just still allow him to have access to all that stuff, and you're like, oh.
They have security cameras, remember? They just don't... all the security cameras do is record. That is it. Nobody's looking at them until someone says, hey, is Lamplighter in the building? And it's like, I guess I'll search Lamplighter's face and see if he comes up. Oh, he did! He's here! It's like, what?
That's what I mean when I say there were no security cameras. Like, yeah, there are cameras,
yeah, no,
but
you're
there's
right.
got to be security watching the cameras.
What I'm getting at is, I find it fucking absurd that they have a facial recognition system in their cameras, but no motion detectors. Like, what?
You think that place would be locked up like a government facility? Which
you'd think.
Yeah.
But no, this one guy who hasn't been part of the group for a long time, he could still just, show up, unlock all the doors, walk in whenever he wants.
And just light himself on fire right in the middle of their fucking room. Their meeting room. What the fuck?
And the whole scene with him, like the whole him thing was the porn watching and the fact that they're trying to do this. Like, I don't feel sorry for him. The first time we see him, he's burning a man alive.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his job, to burn people alive. Like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, definitely fuck that guy. And as someone mentioned in chat, we talked about this before, but he self-immolated, and you could still use his fingerprints to access security? Question mark? How the fuck does that work?
I think with the Lamplighter redemption thing, I think this is just a hunch. Maybe I'm giving this show too many brains. But I think they're trying to do like the Nazi, like they're just following orders thing, like bad people working, because hint, like he was lighting people on fire, putting Jews in ovens, connection there. And I think maybe like it's that type of thing. Like, oh, they're just following orders. Not everybody working for them is like 100% evil. Blah, blah,
so
blah,
here's
blah.
the thing. It's interesting you bring that up, because when they go into the mental or to the facility, the test facility, they just straight up kill a guard.
Mm-hmm.
The first guard they see who opens the door for him, they just straight up shoot him. They just kill him right on the spot.
Yeah, there wasn't really an effort to knock him out, disarm him, tie him up, anything. The boys just kill, and it's like, oh, damn.
Boom, they just murder this guy. So I'm like, oh.
It was weird, because I don't remember an instance of the boys killing anybody who hadn't already shot at them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember it happening. And before anyone gets mad, the guy is going to pull his weapon. The fact is, though, that they don't do anything to stop him. They're just like, oh well, dead now.
And he's only pulling his weapon because
well, why wouldn't he? I don't know. Like,
because they pretend that this guy is basically having like a seizure or something like that, and he needs medical attention stat. And but yeah, instead of the guy just hitting him or having a taser gun with him that they could just hit him with, or just apprehending him, there's like, no, bam, bam, 2 pistol shots right to the chest, boom, done. Like, oh.
Also, that person got released. I guess we'll see them in season 3.
Yeah,
I guess we will. I'm curious to see what's going on with her and what her plan will be. What does she want? What does she, what's going to happen?
Is she related to the other chick, the other blow-uppy chick?
That would be interesting.
You know what's funny?
They got
you bring it up.
Sorry. I was gonna say they have similar powers. I'm thinking maybe they're related, and that's why she hates Vought or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah. So I just looked at it again because I was curious. First of all, they say like, "Help! This man has swallowed his tongue." To the security office with the security guard in it. It's like, what do you think he's gonna do? Like, we need to get into the security office. This guy has swallowed his tongue. It's like, like, you guys.
That's not good, but I'm not a doctor.
But
y'all are the doctors, in fact.
He opens it up, and then Frenchie pulls the gun on him, and the guy in reaction goes to grab his, and then they just shoot him, and it's just like, yeah, down he goes.
Not a tase or anything like that. They just kill him.
MM could have fucking punched him.
Yeah. MM's a big guy. Just bam, just punch him.
And then you tie him up. I don't know why they wouldn't want to put effort into them doing that, but you know. They show on the cameras there's a dude who's teleporting in his room. It's like, what is his room made of that he can't teleport out of it?
Well, I mean, you have the lady, and she just blows all the doors off their hinges, like basically at once, and she just never did that before to her own door?
Somehow, so she's this really powerful telekinetic. Her door is blown open by fire? And then she blows everyone else's doors open. It's so strange. Like, I don't... Because lamplight is like a flamethrower, right? You wouldn't think that's gonna do much. Even to a wooden door, that will set it on fire or whatever, but it's not...
Yeah, it takes time to burn through the material.
But he did it to a steel door, and it blows a hole open in it. It's like, damn, dude, how hot does that burn? Yeah, I don't know. That's I can't even. Is there any other Oh, Kimiko's a character.
Yeah, her whole thing where apparently the whole time she knew sign language and can understand people, but just doesn't ever communicate with these people. Like,
Convenient.
It's really fucking dumb. She needs to give them incredibly important information. That is, the soup they're going after, the one that they want to give away to the government, is her brother. She can't think of any way to translate that to them other than writing boy girl over and over again, when she understands English perfectly well, so she knows what that looks like. Hey, boy girl, boy girl, boy girl. It's like, what are you saying? Clearly I was saying brother. You're like, what? And she can nod, and she can, you know, deny through moving her head ups and downs. It's like, if you have a yes and no system, it's pretty easy for them to eventually figure out through you doing yeses and nos. Oh, it's baffling. Absolutely baffling. And then you find out she has her own personal sign language. And she went mute because her parents were killed?
Something like that.
Don't know if she actually can speak or not. I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Her brother can, though.
Yes, her brother can. Oh, look at this. She can't read. She can't read or write it. Yes, that counters everything that I just said. There's no way you can translate to somebody what things mean if you can't write the language, but you can understand it perfectly. I guess I'll have to explain it. Like, I don't understand. Like, what's so? I have the information, right? And Rags needs to know that this person over there is my brother, but I can't read or write English, so I'll have to just try the word boy. You
feel like I could do better than that.
With speaking,
especially
and
with all that's
listening to the
stake,
language.
Like his life.
If I write that down and Rags reads it out as boy, I should be able to recognize, as a person with a brain, that I'm not telling him anything that he needs to know. I'd be like, boy, yeah, that's not going to tell him.
Yeah, better try something else here to get my point across.
She's very fluent in English. It's fucking stupid. And all she needs to do is Google, like, images of things that represent what she's trying to actually explain. Or hell, she could speak, because I'm pretty sure it's not impossible for her. She's just choosing not to, is what they imply, because she's sad that her parents died. I don't really know. Spontaneous muteness seems a bit weird.
So she doesn't know, like, sign language. She knows a special sign language that only her and her brother speak. Is that the case?
Yeah, that's it. It's a special sign language they invented.
Oh.
Which,
wow.
by the way, fucking hell, how long would that take?
Yeah, I guess they invented their own special sign language. Okay.
Also, imagine how long it would take with, like, Google images of things in a language you can't read. Brilliant. Do you know what pictures are? Like, I can give you a crash course. So, like, you can draw up a picture of brothers and sisters, of people together. You could draw a house.
You just do the thing that's on the back of cars. The two big people, and then the two little people next to them, and you just circle the two of you, and it's really simple. Boom. I just solved the problem in 10 seconds.
How about this? They're looking at the security of the guy throwing the thing. She points at him, and then she points at her heart.
Yep.
Wow, look at that. Universal language. By the way, this would be way more acceptable if not for the fact that she perfectly understands how English works. Like her sign language translates like they all represent words. She used to speak perfectly well. Her brother speaks very good English. It's so bad.
It seems super contrived how she just can't communicate, and it is because it's bullshit.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
And it facilitates payoffs like, oh my god, that's her brother. Oh my god. Too much cheese.
Why did he do a twist again?
Sorry?
Why'd that need to be a twist again?
I don't know. I don't know why they made that a twist. I think it would have been better had she actually managed to get that to them, and then it means that we've got on one hand it's her brother, on the other it's our chance at getting the information we need. Which, by the way, that's another problem with episode 2. Butcher's like, oh man, that's her brother. She can speak to him. He's on our side. Cool. I'm gonna trank him. What? What are you doing?
It's bizarre how stupid he is.
And that, yeah.
Then again, we established at the end of the first season that he's totally randomly murderous, so fuck it.
But yeah, anything else anyone wants to talk about?
No, I think we could save the rest of it for the. I mean, unless of course Jay Longbone has anything to say, but I'm all good.
There's this one small thing. When A-Train magically pops up in Huey's car, beginning of the episode, and they just like stop right in the middle of this busy sidewalk, semi-busy sidewalk, and he gives him this fucking Nazi information out in the open, dressed as A-Train, no disguise. You are the most recognizable fucking person in the world. And like, just here's some fucking information they could bring down, like basically the leader of like the second leader of Vought. Like, right, people could be watching me. Could be surveillance cameras everywhere on the street. But fuck it.
I'd say it's incredibly. We mentioned it earlier, but it's incredibly dodgy that a wanted criminal, the most wanted superhero that's recently been condemned by Vought, and one of the members of the Seven, who I don't even know if he's left at that point, whether or not he has, are just talking in the middle of the street, and he handed them something, a set of files. It's like, so they work together then.
Yep.
And there's several people walking by. It's just like, wow. Just wow. Will EFAP cover season 1? We don't really intend to cover season 1. We're gonna be gunning for 2. But we can, talk casually about some of the stuff that happens in season 1 while we're doing it.
Yeah, I'm sure stuff. Well, as we've already done in this little stream, we've already referenced some things from season 1. And that is bound to happen in our discussion about season 2, because a lot of the stuff in season 2 was built on what they established in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely going to be making some comments about season 1, which is undoubtedly the stronger of the 2 seasons. This one's just horrible.
Someone just said, wow, now that's very nitpicky. Seriously?
What? What's nitpicky?
With A-Train in the street talking to wanted criminals, it's nitpicky.
That is not fucking nitpicky.
I mean,
he's that's President that's like Trump. Like giving people
this would ruin everything. If they get seen or reported or anything, or someone takes a picture or anything like that, 2 wanted criminals in A-Train, like, man, just anywhere.
Also,
where would they have to be to where you would think it's an issue?
Yeah, I know.
That's what I want to know.
someone's like, you can hear him open and close the car. Like, come on, guys. Like, I'm not questioning how he got into the car. That's not, like, I don't
That's
care
not,
about that.
yeah, it's the fact that he's out in the open giving people classified information. Like, giving 2 wanted criminals classified information, where there could easily be surveillance cameras and there's foot traffic everywhere. Like, that's the problem.
Yeah, and it's weird when your audience care more about you guys looking after your identities than you do. It's like, please put a hood on. Oh, I guess we didn't talk about Stormfront overall.
How she's cartoonishly villainous, to the point where she's like a meme.
She needs a big, long, black mustache that she can twirl wherever she's in a scene.
Twirl and fiddle with, and
Vought.
Obviously, the political commentary that they're making, the super on the nose, ridiculous.
She has seemingly a goal to kill all non-whites in the world. That's her ultimate goal. She also wants people to be supes. She wants supes to reign supreme. That is the best, possibly white supes. I don't really know. Vought brought her in for some reason. Like,
for some reason.
Why the fuck did they bring her in?
Oh yeah, I'm just realizing that. Why the fuck?
Because all they say is like, "Oh man."
That's what he said. He said because it's just a numbers game. Like as soon as Compound V is out there, our numbers go up, or like our stock goes up.
Yeah. Like, that was so. The ultimate reasoning was that she makes people angry, and angry gets them more numbers in the stock, which doesn't actually add up at all. Because she shat on Vought throughout the whole season, their stock would have gone down. One of their mainline superheroes is constantly saying they suck. Like, why would their stock go up?
And like their whole thing in that conversation was like, oh well, I can't just Gus Fring was like, well, I can't just stop her and be all irrational and entitled. That's a white man thing. And I'm like, mother,
yeah, I heard that and I was like, man. This is an extremely famous and beloved black actor who's super rich, playing an extremely famous, well-to-do black CEO of a massive mega corporation. Like, at what point are you just like, you don't seem oppressed to me?
No, you can't be angry. White people are angry.
Yeah, and he could easily take Stormfront down if he didn't like her and do a covert, nothing,
a covert
no eyes towards him at all.
A secret SWAT team just armed with knives.
As someone just said in chat, she's really good at social media. She makes memes like no one else. She'll have a picture of Homelander, and the top text will say, "Hey, isn't Homelander cool?" And the bottom text is, "Yes, he is." Fucking saves his career. Christ, she won the world through memes. Everything about Stormfront fucking sucks. Like she's such a lame ass character. There's just no effort at all.
Don't you know that Nazis win people over with memes? That's why Nazis are like 5 million strong. That's why they're taking over this country. Because memes. They're taking over, baby.
This show is written by people who think that memes on the internet turn random neckbeards on the internet into murderers.
I will admit, I'm sad that the internet is fucking pouring into my TV shows. It's like, can you please stay separated? Can you please pretend like you're actually making a fantasy instead of like, I don't like Nazis on the internet with their memes. It's like, oh god. I'm gonna have 3 women beat the shit out of the Nazi in my finale. You're like, okay, all right.
Well, to be fair, Stormfront in the comics did get beaten the fuck out of by 3 people, but it wasn't. It was Butcher.
Wasn't Stormfront a guy?
Huey. Yeah, he was a guy. He was a guy in the comics, but I'm fine with the gender swap because it kind of makes sense for what they tried to go for. Like she's she acts like a feminist, but she's really a Nazi, feminazi. Get it? That was fine with me at first, but it's kind of they kind of just fucked off with it. Now she's like completely right wing and goes completely against her liberal views. Like what the fuck?
Like a secret Nazi genetic experiment.
It's so funny. And someone just said, like, it's such a shame we didn't see Pepe. Yeah, Pepe should have been in there. He should have been a little Nazi cap, and he should have been a little icon on her outfit. Give Pepe some representation. Yeah, transparent as hell. Nobody's gonna be missing that one, and I think most people will find it embarrassing by the end. They'll be like, oh.
It's gonna age like milk on the countertop.
Oh yes.
And I just still can't get over how she turns black people into Smucker's jelly and just can't say the N-word worth a damn. You yellow bastard, you black bastard.
Friggy was talking about that with these episodes. He's really annoyed that this show pretends to have teeth. It doesn't actually.
Right, exactly. It's so fucking bitch made. Like, you can tell the people who write this show are white. They just can't say the N-word.
It's gonna get him in trouble. But oh yeah, when she blasts through an apartment full of black people, apartment building, it's just like, okay.
She's just like, oh, here's an opportunity to kill black people. I must take it. I gotta kill them all.
And you know what's incredible writing? A show where they go, she managed to frame the telekinetic for it. Okay.
All those people that were killed by electricity? Yeah, oh no, that was the telekinetic guy who killed them.
Yeah,
oh.
You have, while she's battling Kimiko, you can hear screaming in the background, as if to imply there's people still escaping the situation, or there's people discovering the situation. And it's just like, you want me to believe that she got away with it? It's like, the show said she did. You're like, okay.
Alright, yeah, like 69 people or something died, and the rest have to go and live at some camp thingy, this temporary place that's set up for them. Like, ugh. Well, it's a running thing that Vought and the supes, they just get away with stuff that's just comically easy to discover.
Dude, do you remember when she goes up the stairs and there's a dude she bumps into? She threw him out the window. There's no guarantee he's dead. Like, and that's just one example of how much the show doesn't seem to give a shit. Because he's like, oh, hey, I don't know how high up they are, but he as he falls out, he's like, whoa! And it's just like, yeah, you might have broken your back, broken your leg or something, but if you're alive, oh.
Like, here's how they could have remedied this. Just, Stormfront accidentally kills some black people at first. Like, at first you think that. And then she sees one of them, like, slowly dying. And then she, like, says some Nazi shit. And then kills him. And then that's it. Okay, then now the audience gets that she is a fucking Nazi bitch. And we don't have to worry about, okay, how come no one picked up on the fact that she leveled an entire fucking apartment complex?
Because it's just so, it's overt to the point of being just silly.
And
I can't take it seriously.
I love the idea that you have someone as powerful as Superman who is actually racist, but you know, is in a world where you can't possibly be it. And it's like, how do they do with that? And as Jay Longbone just said, you can have scenes where they're trying to help people and they spot someone who they're just like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave you. And we're like, ooh, that's ooh. But instead, she's incredibly over it. Look at that. I just wanted to show you that screenshot, by the way. That's what she does to the building in one of her many shots. Look at all those windows.
Yep.
She doesn't. She might have been killing white people. Isn't she gonna be upset?
Exactly. There's some white people who live in the projects too.
Yeah, but they're tainted now. They live with a black man.
They live with the darkies.
Yeah, they're not the real master race. The real white people would never put up with living. They'd never put up with racial harmony.
They mingle with Negroes.
They cannot be allowed to escape. They've tainted the perfection of the white race.
Vought covered it up. Yeah. There's just no way that could possibly leak out in any way, shape, or form. They covered it up.
Like in a world with camera phones and shit.
Yeah.
And look at all this fire. Telekinesis equals fire. Come on.
He blew up a thing and it made fire go everywhere. Obviously.
Telling you, like when we were watching, Fargo. That show, a lot of that show is predicated on the idea that it takes place, 40, 50 years ago, whenever, when technology was different. Oh yeah. That might be a good idea because technology, it changes the way, what can happen in your story. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The only realistic expression of racism I see on the show in season 2 is when Homelander accidentally kills that kid in, what was it, Afghanistan or some shit, and like he's like, well, sometimes in war, shit happens, and shit happens, and that was his big excuse. That's more. I mean, I don't know if you call that racism, but it's still carelessness.
And they could have if the show was telling us if he is racist or not, because like I said, she makes a big speech about how they're trying to kill the white genocide is happening, and he like winks at her like it's like, wait, does Homelander think that's true? It's like, is he crazy too?
No.
I don't know.
Is Homelander crazy racist?
I never thought he was racist. I think he's more of a misanthrope than anything else, and he's just following along with her. Yeah, he's just following along with her because he's fucking her. That's it. It's just so fucking bad. Stop doing that to male characters. Stop it.
Because I remember at the very beginning, like of the show, it seemed like he really did care about keeping the seven together.
Yeah, it was cool. He was like the granddaddy sort of dude. Like, he doesn't let any nonsense happen. And oh my god, he's so bad at in any way maintaining his image, which is really a shame because that's like his core character flaw, is that he desperately desires admiration and love, but he does such a fucking shitty job of it.
Makes you wonder how he got to this point with all the fuck ups he's constantly making.
I think it's supposed to be like, oh well, powerful people, they can be as dumb and as reckless as they want. They'll never get caught. But like, come on, some of this shit is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Eventually, people will get caught. I don't give a damn. Like, if they're that fucking careless, come on. At least a spotlight will be put on their bullshit. Come on.
The show could have been so good.
I know. It's crap. It's crap.
And we're gonna have a whole stream about all the episodes. So
yeah, we're gonna do it. As for tonight, we're gonna be heading to sleep soon. EFAP will be at the normal time. Well, I say normal time, but it's actually gonna be today. It would be today for a lot of Americans soon, rather than the day after. Normal time, but on a Friday is what I'm saying, instead of a Saturday. And this time we're gonna be the part 2 of the Patrick Willems back-to-back videos of what we want from a Star Wars movie, I think it was. So we'll be doing that, and yeah, the boys will possibly be something we do next week. A sort of season rundown. It's gonna be fun. Oh, I should probably try and read out some of the super chats for this stream particularly, I guess. There's a couple, unless anything else you guys wanted to talk about before.
Nah, we could. Nah. I think we've done enough damage for the night.
Remember to invite Nerdrotic for Battlefield Earth. Will do. We're not sure when we'll set it up, but we will. Haven't seen the finale yet. Watched 7 yesterday. They need to calm down the politics a lot. Way too on the nose for me. Oh, you'll enjoy the last episode.
Oh, fuck me. The episode. Oh, Jesus.
This just says Rags.
Oh, well, hi.
Looking for good takedown vids of TYT suggestions? I don't know. I'm sure you could probably just search for it, like TYT bad takedown videos of. I'm guessing that's the Young Turks, right?
Oh yeah, then Devin Tracy made a bunch. You want to go to Devin Tracy? I think he got banned from YouTube, but he's on BitChute.
Wasn't there who made the one that was like the supercut of them reacting to Trump winning? That was funny.
Was it Dame Pesos?
Maybe I don't know, but
yeah, yeah. Look up like Trump election TYT compilation.
Can I suggest Every Frame of Possession or Phantom? Yeah, I think those two could work too.
Every Frame of Phantom. Yeah, next year maybe we'll do a different one.
Yeah. Oh, and that
it's Psycho this year.
That person ended up saying MauLer. Ah, just our names. Spooky.
That is spooky.
All supes are bulletproof. Guns feel safe. They are not all bulletproof.
Yeah, they're not.
Bullets aren't as good as Almond Joy. It's like, yep. Molly, you going to stream Amnesia Machine for Pigs? I don't think so. I'm got too much to do between now and the 20th. But maybe at some point in some way. It'd be nice to revisit it maybe and see what I think of it now compared to then. Also, Christmas is better. Damn.
Well.
Never watched the show. I just like listening to your schmexy voices. And Mola, I don't recall World War I fighters stopping to celebrate Halloween. Go Christmas.
Very true, yeah.
It was in their minds, you see. They appreciate Halloween that way. It's deep in the soul. And
deep in the trenches.
This has got to be a weird stream for people who've never seen The Boys before. Early in its defined, they are BP. Starlight Shrugs are 50 cal. They did say they can't cut translucent because his skin turns to metal. Yeah, but not all superheroes is the point, right? It's they have to be specifically mentioned that they can put up with it. Otherwise, I mean, I feel like Mesmer kind of destroys this argument, right? He was killed by being he was killed by a normal person hitting him with something. How can Lamplighter kill himself with fire? Apparently, all he could ever do was control fire. He could easily die from fire, which is interesting. How would he be one of the 7? I'm assuming he can be killed by a bullet. Like, is there any reason Lamplighter can't be killed by a bullet? I just feel like it would be a requirement to get into the 7 because of the amount of shit you have to deal with on the regular.
Yeah, I feel like that was why, they like, because remember Homelander like basically kills that Asian guy, the blind one. Because he's not resilient enough to damage.
Stupid, sexy long man and his beastly doggo. I gotta go to work. Gonna listen anyways. Life ain't gonna stop me from EFAPing. This wasn't even EFAP. It was just a casual conversation. Nice and short. 3 hours. This just says kiss. My god. My biggest problem is the complete disconnect of the setup of different plot lines. How are the gang out in the open when they are wanted? Good question. Why is Stormfront protesting Vought one episode, then shooting a movie for them? Wasn't the point of what was the point of Compound V being released? To apparently make it go mainstream and create a soup army that she could eventually control and kill every race other than white. That seems to be her ultimate goal, Stormfront. I don't know what Vought were doing with her the whole time, though. And the lack of sense of progression has been irritating. Although a positive, I really like Lamplighter and MM, who've had good character moments. Really?
Lamplighter's good character moment?
I don't know what we'd be referring to. Is it the fact that he feels sad after being a badman? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can fuck right off with that because we just saw him just burning a bunch of people alive, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sad I did." No, fuck off.
It just came to mind that that's a really stupid way to dispose of bodies.
Yeah, it is. It's pointless, especially right on the spot, because it burns the walls and it burns the floor,
and blood and guts go everywhere.
Yeah, it's just it's a horrible way of disposing of people. Also, you don't need a superhero for that.
I found the best way to watch season 2, just get really, 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 really high, then it's all a big joke. So pro tip, watch it like Gandalf would, high as fuck. I imagine that helps, yeah. Sad to say. Wombo, Rags, ever see FMA and FMA Brotherhood? If not, they're good shows, both of them. Also, hi Rags.
Yeah, I have a long time ago. I should probably rewatch them eventually. But yeah, they are very good.
Yeah, I haven't seen Brotherhood in a while now, but I was very happy with it. But it was very good. 2018 chat. Hi Rags. I don't know who that is. 2020 chat. Hi Raggle Daggle Googly Floompa Rags. Hello. Glad I'm not alone in disliking The Boys, though I didn't like the first season either. Also, hi Raggledorf. I am now playing Echo.
Oh, enjoy it. Really savor it. I think it's a good one. As for us, season 1, we liked it, but we'd still give it like 5 out of 10 overall. Still
Which
a lot of issues.
Staggering to the Discord when I said that. They were like, "What the fuck? There's no way it's a 5." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. There's loads of problems in it. I like it too." It's not as bad as season 2 though, by a long shot.
Oh yeah, it's way better than season 2.
You should give An Elephant Standing Still a watch. It's the best modern movie I've seen, hands down. Watch with subtitles. Fair enough.
The Elephant Standing Still?
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Someone just said in chat. So, season 2 of The Boys is basically a setup for how terrible The Mandalorian season 2 is going to be. We haven't even got The Mandalorian yet, Rags. That's on its way.
Oh, boy.
That's going to be bad.
By the way, going through all of The Mandalorian again, and with a finer tooth comb, like, there's even more problems than... Like, it ain't getting better. The show does not get better the more closely I look.
While some of the social commentary is a bit ham-fisted, the line from Stormfront, "People like what I say, they just don't like the label of Nazi," did land quite well given 2020.
Explain how.
People like what I say, they just don't like the label of Nazi. How is that not
that,
ham-fisted as fuck?
That's see, the people who write this, they think that, because the people who write this think that anyone like who's right-leaning, anyone who likes Trump, they're all Nazis.
Yeah, so the idea...
Right? You're talking about me.
The idea with what she's saying there is, me and the people who follow me like Nazi ideas, they're just not fond of the label because of the connotations. It's just like, damn.
Because these people think having a wall on your border to keep people from just walking into your country, they think that's what a Nazi is. That's what they think Nazis are.
Yeah, like, the Nazi I don't know, like, the fact that she has such thorough support with crazy mainstream level people, and she did it through memes. I just find it all so on the nose. It's so hard to ignore.
And she did start out like semi fucking liberal. So how did people handle like her jump from that to super right wing? I don't get it. How does that fucking work?
It is your destiny. Very well. Have you read The Boys? The graphic novel is interesting. I have not. And I don't think you guys have either, right?
I've seen this.
No, I haven't.
Like, I've seen the summation of all the comics. It's like 5 hours long on YouTube.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten all the way through it yet, though.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last graphic novel I read. It was years and years. It was probably the fucking Halo graphic novel that came out many years ago. I just don't read graphic novels.
Someone's using the copy paster in chat because it's like it's like it is applicable once again. I'm hating on something now. It's like, damn it, your critiques are poor. The last few years of media have made me not give a fraction of a fuck about media. You're really good. Season 1 no longer fools me. Heroes, Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, The Boys. I will no longer take a chance on any media. Sorry, me, man. They all seem to depreciate. Stranger Things is another great example. Season 1 was good. Season 2, I fucking hated, but loads of people were like, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And Season 3 was the one all the fans were like, okay, this has gone too far. This is getting really shit now. Who knows how bad Season 4 will be. Posted a question before Christmas. It got answered in EFAP 75, and so just heard it yesterday. Holy crap, am I behind? I have extended the remake to being the whole sequel Star Wars movies, not just TLJ. What is 2 aspects of each movie you would consider keeping? 2 aspects of the original trilogy movies each?
That I would keep?
Sorry, I've extended the remake to being the whole sequel Star Wars movies. So what are 2 aspects of TFA, TLJ, and TROS that you would keep?
The budget and the special effects.
Yeah.
So I'd say, I guess, the special effects and the...
I mean, the actors? I'd keep the actors.
Yeah, the actors are fine. I just think they're directed like shit.
Mm-hmm. There you go. What a passionate answer, because it's just like, yeah, there's not enough to work with, but yeah, those things. Hey MauLer, I just got back from work. What are we on about? Is there spoilers for Season 2? If so, I'll leave. Yes. Talking about the last episode of Season 2, so lots of spoilers.
The title did not give you a bit of a clue. Absolutely.
MauLer and Rags, thanks for all the entertaining content. MauLer, have you seen Soviet Womble's playthrough of Alien Isolation? Poor guy gets scared shitless. Oh, shitless. Shitless.
I guess I can't.
They're trying to spell around it for the thing. But it's a real treat. Happy Halloween, Rags.
Hello. And happy Halloween to you.
Yeah, and thank you for thanking us. And no, I've not seen it, but that does sound amusing. Thank you for introducing critical thinking back into our culture, gentlemen.
I mean, I'd like to think we're doing our part, but I don't know if it was all on us.
Yeah,
I wish I had that kind of power in culture, but
we got a whole bunch of people that are reliably trying to check out things that way. It's good stuff. And yeah, we do try. We've tried today, but who knows? Maybe we're being biased with our hatred and poor critiques, Rags. You don't know. Could be. Mel Gibson was trending on Twitter today, and the blue check marks were excited that he was trending because they thought he was dead. Tolerant left. Yeah,
well, you heard what they said about Trump when he was sick. They just wanted him dead. Like, what a wonderful bunch of people.
Season 2, we added a lot of peeps just to get rid of them. We're no further along than the end of Season 1. Also, Nazis bad. Yeah, they haven't really made any progress since the end of Season 1, have they, if you think about it?
Yeah, not really. Yeah. Vought's still super powerful. Like, still rule the world.
Our team aren't criminals anymore, which wasn't really an issue anyway. It's like, I don't really care. Like, it's like...
Yeah, they got roped into being criminals, yeah.
And then it's like, what else has changed? It's like, yep.
Becca, she's fucking dead. Yeah. What about that anymore?
She went from being missing, presumed dead, to alive to dead. Like, alright then. Hi MauLer and hi Rags. Hello.
Hey.
On episode 3, why did they drop all sense of subtlety to the characters, especially the 7? Episode 3, was that where Stormfront started murdering everybody? I think it was.
I don't know, I guess they just stopped caring more and more as time went on. I guess they realized that people will clap at anything, so they could just do whatever, and it wasn't double checked or re-edited or anything like that. So they just fucking said, fuck it. People already have an investment in the character, so we don't have to work towards that anymore.
Yeah. You look at any comment section on a trailer or whatever, it's people just nonstop wanking to the show, like no critical thinking at all.
I love the fact that when the Deep Skills started talking to him, they got Patton Oswalt, a guy who possibly killed his wife, to voice them. Possibly killed his wife. That's the first I've heard of that.
I don't fucking know anything about that.
Yeah, no, I got nothing. I hope Jay Longbone breaks wind loudly on stream.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. That fucking asshole is following me here.
Fucking, that Star Wars girl had someone following her through Super Chats when she was last on here as well. That's fucking weird, but okay. Why does Mulan 2020's dad's sword have the FBI's motto on it? Also, hello, Rags.
Is it?
They talk about that truth, family,
brave, loyal, true.
Yeah.
Wait, let me look it up. What is FBI? Let me look up FBI motto.
It's kind of funny.
Fidelity, bravery, integrity. Wow, that's actually true. Yeah.
There's a lot of crossover with sayings like that.
The first thing that pops up is when you put in FBI motto Mulan.
Hi Rags.
Hi.
Here for another Outer Wilds advert. Hey Mubefleet. It also has some cool Soma vibes toward the end as things are revealed too. Check it out. Keep only hearing good things about it.
About what?
Outer Wilds.
Oh yeah. We're gonna have to take a look at that eventually. I get recommended too much.
Disney's Mulan dishonors a beloved folktale. Truth. Well, that was great. Hi, Rags.
Hey.
I choose to take that as a sarcastic statement rather than that was great. I will choose to read it as that was great.
That's great.
You guys should check out the Wolf of Snow Hollow trailer.
Oh, yeah, that looks good.
What is it?
It's this low-key werewolf movie that's coming out. It's by this guy.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's by this guy who made another well-known indie movie. Made it. It looks pretty good.
Cool. Worst character, my vote is for Stormfront. Yeah, I guess. I don't even know if there's much of a choice in that run, right? Like, who's the worst character? It's like probably Stormfront.
Yeah. Probably put her up there.
Anyone else remember when MauLer said that this show did a good job portraying evil superheroes in a semi-realistic way? Yeah, that's an old me.
That was in season 1, yeah.
It's funny, if I was to speak to myself back then, I'd be like, oh man, I'm sorry. Then I'd be like, oh no. What happens? Thoughts on Bad Robot rumors being given the Lord of the Rings rights? Bad Robot is J.J. Abrams' production company.
JJ's, yeah.
So, terrifying, I guess.
Not too thrilled. Yeah. Pretty terrified.
Please don't destroy everything, sir. I'd be just saying. Could you get my boy Short Fat Otaku on for your next Last of Us 2 video? Scrump saying the gamer word got him demonetized. Yeah, at some point, yeah. We've kind of...
I'm sure we'll have Dev on probably sometime.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be Last of Us 2 though. We're not looking to cover Last of Us 2 at least for a while again.
Yeah,
we did like
done
too
with
many
it
in a row.
myself.
I think.
Yeah, I'm finished with it.
Defense of the Girl Power Stormfront beatdown. They are the 3 most qualified people to kill her in a No, that's not. I don't have a problem with them being able to do that. It's just her in the fight is annoying me. She doesn't do more. Like Stormfront doesn't fly away as soon as she's like put down. She doesn't use her electric in a wild way. She just sort of takes it. And to me, it's just like because they want to have that moment of the 3 of them beating the Nazi. It's just like, okay. I just, you know, and of course Maeve, just how she got there. It's fine. In Attack of It, holy crap, it was so on the nose, it was insane. Also, why were they only kicking her? Yeah, that was weird.
I thought you want to kill her.
Yeah, you'd think they'd be, like, especially Kimiko, it's like, go for the neck. Go for something that you think
that chick killed your brother.
Yeah, I think Kimiko was supposed to be the one to pull her fucking eye out, but then they just gave it to Becca. Becca just poked her with a knife, and then, she's got no eye.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like, Kimiko doesn't really get to... Like, that's just blue balls. Like...
Yeah, because they were hyping it up the whole time because she was like, oh, I froze. What if I freeze again? It's like, all you did was kick her in the ribs a little bit.
And besides, she's, like, happy by the end of the season, but it's public knowledge that Stormfront isn't even dead. So, I don't know. Interesting. Rags, I'm from El Paso, and we love our wall.
Yeah, I can bet. I can bet you do. That's what I hear a lot.
And, that's it. Thank you all for hanging out with us and for watching. Like I said, Super Chats from 103 will be caught up with in their own sort of selected thing. I think I'll upload this to MauLer as just a discussion-y thing, but give it a week's time, and we're probably going to do a full breakdown of Season 2. We're gonna steal some feelings.
I think we just have a couple more here.
Wait, we do?
Yeah. Someone said, Wheezy Bird asks, Ryan's heat ray stronger than Homelander's? I think it's because Homelander was specifically not using it at its full potential.
Oh yeah, we did bring that up as I guess that's possible.
Yeah, which I'm fine with. In Ryan, obviously he's not as trained, so when it happens with him, it just sort of unleashes and he can't control it as much.
Mm-hmm.
And Yum Yum Eat Me Up says, what does Rags think about the rumors surrounding Lord of the Rings having potential nudity? Also, hi Rags. Hello. I'm extremely concerned that they're gonna do it in a distasteful way that doesn't mesh with the feel that Lord of the Rings has. There's sort of an air of reverence that I think it has definitely deserved, that it has earned and it deserves. And I think that they don't like it.
Where are you seeing these?
What?
Wait, are these just directly in chat, is it?
Yeah.
I can't believe you don't want to see Gandalf cock. Like, come on. Get with it.
My staff is broken.
You shall not pass any... to the ground.
You shall not arrive.
Get to see Gandalf stuff. Yeah, who knows what that's gonna be exactly? Like, just we're all very concerned. Yeah. I was just thinking about that heat ray thing. It's just the only reason the tangled part of it is her being like hey, let loose, fucking fired at me. I guess he could have gone much worse. I'm assuming Homelander at maximum laser power is better than what he did to her in the sex bit. I don't know. The kid flashbanged as well. You know, everything went white. He fired his glorious lasers.
Yeah, I guess maybe he really is stronger than Homelander. So.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately that could be the case, that his lasers are actually more powerful than Homelander's. That could just be the case.
He fucked Stormfront up. She was a crispy critter.
Yeah. Oh, did we mention that he fucked her up so much she started speaking German?
Yeah.
I don't know what they were going for with that. She was just like, Ashte for confide in dich, well, she lifted up her arm, and you're like, what are you...
Grab my stump, boss.
She's trying to cast a spell, maybe? I don't know.
Nazi magics.
But yeah, thank you all for hanging out, and thank you for the donations, and thanks both for having a chat. Is there anything else before we hop out?
Nah, I'm all good. No. We'll have plenty to say next time we talk about it.
Oh yes. EFAP shall return in 13 hours, actually. So see you there, folks. It's going to be a Friday one instead.
Yeah,
we busy
it'll be
Saturday.
Great.
We're doing tisms on Saturday. Rubs hands together.
Oh, one thing though, one reminder that Ruby Rose's post Batwoman movie is coming out tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Actually, no, in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, it'll be out.
We'll be doing an EFAP movies for that. Do you want to be in on that, or do you want to be doing your own sort of thing?
Yes, I do want to be in on that, please.
I'm not sure when. We'll try and get it recorded sooner rather than later, so that you don't have to wait to see it. But yeah, it should be fun. Maybe we can get Az for it as well. That could be good. Ruby Rose in her own movie. Gonna be great. But yeah, thank you all so much, and good night.
Night.